Headquarters, LA 21 12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hanagriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it...
From Ruffino's on Highland Road, welcome to the Friday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. I'm Charles Hanagriff along with Richard Dixon. Max Gotro is here. Jordan Kitch is back in the studio. Jimmy Ott will join us a little while. It is Log of the Week Friday presented by Tex Morris and Edward Jones Investments, and it is LSU's final off weekend of the regular season. Rich, good morning. How you doing?
Doing good, man.
How you feel? This part of the season has been the bye for better than a decade now, but it was always the first. Well, usually it's the first bye, and it was going to Alabama, which some of those years was everything and was always important. How you feel this year compared to other years? Because I've got some thoughts on it.
I mean, look, multiple buys I think is always good just to get your body rested, get feeling good, get the little mental break from the grind on it. I think it's tough coming off a tough loss to A&M. Like I think I said it in the post game, Saturday night. It makes for a long 2 weeks when you have a bye week after a loss.
Can that be good? Can it festering? Can it crystallize focus, if you will?
I mean, I think you spend a little bit of extra time on what went wrong, and which sometimes mentally it sucks because you still got to think about it, but you do have extra time to go figure out what went wrong, why it went wrong, and how to fix it.
That I think that seems particularly important this week because what was one of the reasons we talked about the reasons that LSU lost the game, the turnovers. Well, you're always going to work on that. The running game. Well, you're always going to work on that. Running quarterback and the amount of time they put in on that has been a big topic,
yeah.
and I think it's actually been overblown a little bit. But if you were going to play this week against Texas, okay, with a quarterback that doesn't run, or
Unless
Georgia with a quarterback that well, the other quarterback that doesn't run or doesn't run a lot anyway. Are you going to play Georgia, whose quarterback really doesn't run either? But you have played two running quarterbacks in a row, two quarterbacks that can really hurt you with their feet. And against Taylor Green, they did a terrific job. No. Mississippi State did not. Against Texas A&M, you didn't know what to do with Marcel Reed. Well, Jalen Milroe is as dangerous with his legs as any quarterback in the league. So maybe that festering of, man, look, we didn't do a real good job at all of containing him is pertinent this week with Milroe on the horizon.
Yeah, I mean, look, you go back and watch what we did on YouTube Monday. The very first touchdown by Reed was just blown up. They did not cover it well. They did not have the guys in the right spot.
It was his first play in the game.
First play in the game.
Yeah.
The next two, they read it. I mean, they had guys going the right directions. It was just misfits. You had two guys in one gap. It was similar to things we saw early on in the year when guys, what they say, got too many guys were trying to make too many plays, or they weren't just doing their part of the defense, their role, their job. And that's where the mistakes and the big play, especially the 20-yard run, everybody read the pullers. Everybody flew to where the ball was going, but they just got to the wrong spots.
He's tough to tackle.
Yeah.
Not that he's a big burly kid, but he's slippery. And on that particular play, when he got 20, it looked like he got skinny in that. It was not a gaping hole. It appeared, but when you see it from the end zone view, it's like, wow, okay, it's not like this is a hole. It's 3 splits wide. It's just he slithered through that thing in a hurry, and both of you guys had over pursued.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about run fits, how much did it look to you? I know you've gone back and looked at it again because you're a sick individual. How much did it look like the bus against South Carolina?
Very similar.
Yeah.
I mean, guys they read the play right. They knew where the ball was going. They just didn't fit the right holes. They didn't play their job exact.
Yeah. This is what's different for me this year. Every year since the BCS started, really the second loss was the one that was kind of the knockout punch. Not always.
Not for us.
In 07, it worked out, but that was the only year it
Yeah.
worked out like that on the national scene. And in 2001, it was a fun ride to the SEC championship because they hadn't had one in 15 years, hadn't won the Sugar Bowl in 3 decades, and so even with the third loss, that was a fun end to the season because they got on a little bit of a run. The Auburn game was in December because of 9/11, and everybody was really locked in. The rest of the seasons after the second loss, there's been mostly a letdown. Now, last year, a little bit because of Daniels.
Yeah.
And you felt like, okay, if they could have beat Alabama and snuck into the SEC championship game, who knows? Do they beat Georgia? Almost certainly not.
Yeah.
But maybe, who knows? Maybe they could have beat them 56-55. Who knows? This year's different. This year has 2 losses, but I feel like not only is everything on the table for LSU, everything's still in there, within their command. They control their own destiny, and I don't know that they ever have with 2 losses. They've always needed some help
We've
somewhere
never had
else.
a 12-team playoff.
Never had a 12-team playoff.
we
We never had
never
divisionless,
many
SEC.
Well,
either.
and I think there was a stat earlier. Can't remember exactly who said it, but it was the first time in however many years that every SEC team had a loss going into November.
Wow, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
I mean, so it's the most
07,
parity.
right?
I think it was 07.
07,
But
yeah.
they had said it has been so many years since every SEC team had a loss going into November. You add a 12-team playoff to it. I think the parity of the league's there to where, you lost, the USC loss just looks worse and worse. But you know what? This team is not the team that they were there. They're completely different. The defense is night and day. This is where I'm feeling comfortable because the defense is getting better. The last quarter and a half of the A&M game was disappointing because we had seen this defense come. But look, I'm tired of putting that all on the defense and defensive coordinators and the preparing for the running quarterback because they had 3 touchdowns where they had started on the 8-yard line, the 20-something yard line, and 30-yard line. They drove the field, scored 3 touchdowns without going over 70 yards.
Yeah.
So there's things that I'm still confident about. I think that there's things that can fix, and then like you said, I mean, you can control your own destiny going on.
Surprisingly enough, the path to the SEC championship game is a little bit easier or a little bit clearer even with 2 extra teams in the league now because there's no divisional play.
Yeah.
If we were still in divisional play, LSU would need A&M to lose twice, unless there were a 3-team tiebreak. I'll get all that. But you've now got a very clear path. You own a couple of the multi-team tiebreakers,
Yeah.
strange as that would be. I think that there is some poetic justice to the idea that Texas would lose a tiebreaker because of the schedule that they were. If Jimmy were here, he would say awarded or gifted. There's a little bit of justice to that. If it gets there, we don't. The next time all the chalk holes in November will be the first time. So I don't want to get too far down the line with that yet. But at least it is on the table, and you're there with you're there with Alabama, who's basically in the same boat that you are. One of their losses is not non-conference the way LSU's is, but they feel like if they can, win out and get themselves in this conversation and have a break or 2 fall their way, that they can get there. They could also lose multiple games in November. LSU could lose multiple games in November. We thought that LSU would be a favorite in Tiger Stadium. We actually saw that Alabama opened up a small favorite in the outlets that have it out right now. I'm expecting a little bit of buyback, maybe a picket by the time the game kicks off. But at least you're not this overwhelming underdog that
we're talking about running quarterbacks. I mean, who would you take right now, neutral field, A&M or Alabama?
If I had to play A&M or Alabama on a neutral field right now, who would I feel LSU's more comfortable beating? Who? Boy, that's a good question.
I mean, it's tough because we're talking so much about look A&M, and it sounds terrible, and then we lose by double digits. They were terrible for 2.5 quarters. I mean, with the other quarterback with Wegman in, I mean, the offense was atrocious.
If Wegman plays the rest of the game, LSU wins.
By
Even
far,
with the turnovers, they win.
With the turnovers. And I think You can play the devil's advocate. When we went back and showed you the films from the first quarter and the holes they had on the left side, we ran for over 24 yards on our second drive of the game. And then throughout the rest of the game, we end up with 24 for the whole game. So there's a lot of things that just happen in that game that are confusing.
I'm trying not to dodge your question, even though I don't really want to answer it, because it's hard. Marcel Reed had such an enormous impact on this game, and they won other games with him as a starting quarterback. But it's not like he was the dominant player in all of those games. He had a very average game against Arkansas.
I think you spend 90% of your time practicing from Marcel Reed and you take away what he did great, the game gets a lot tougher.
Oh, well, now hang on. Now you're going to go back to they didn't prepare for him.
Well, I didn't want to go there, but Kelly didn't dodge it when they asked in the interview. He said that we practiced it all year. We had this plan. Our guys just didn't do the roles. Which, okay, you just said everything, but we did not practice it this week. And we've seen what they did with Green. I thought Green is a better thrower. After watching Reed run, I don't think he's a better runner. I mean, they're both very good, but Reed was moving.
Yeah.
But I think that if you spend all your time, and like I said during the post game, you spend 80 to 90% of your time on the starter and 10% of the time on a guy that might get in. You flip that role and you spend 90% of your time preparing for Reed and 10% on a Wegman. I think it's a better outcome.
Well, put your Shane Beamer hat on. How would you have run practice at South Carolina this week?
Oh, I'm worried about Reed the whole time because Wegman's terrible at throwing the ball too.
Yeah. So you would prepare that Reed was going to be
the most dangerous thing to happen.
Yeah. But let's say Reed goes in there, and it's not a lock that he's going to run up and down the field the way he did against LSU. I mean, he had 13 yards against Arkansas. He had 40 yards in I throw the McNeese game out. He did run very well against Bowling Green, and he ran well against Florida, but he's not a lock.
No.
It's not like, oh, this guy's unstoppable. He's Michael Vick or, he's Lamar Jackson or something like that. What if they go in and South Carolina has spent the whole week worried about him running, doing exactly what, we've been talking about all week. Says, hey, man, look, I'm putting 8 people up in the front. If you throw the ball over my head, good luck. What if they do that? And you look up in the second quarter and you haven't.
I think this week's more of a 60-40.
Okay.
Not a 80, 20, 90, 10. I think it's a 60-40 because I think it's easier to adjust to the passing game than it is to adjust to a quarterback with that skill set.
Because it's easy to say just based on our familiarity, our recency bias, that Reed's great and Wegman's terrible. Well, that wasn't the case against Missouri. Wegman was great, and Reed didn't even need to play until the end when the game was out of reach. They went through a camp. Wegman won the job.
Yeah.
They, for most, with the exception of 2 quarters last week, they've thought that Wegman was the better quarterback. So if they get off, this game is fascinating to me, by the way, South Carolina and A&M.
I want to watch this weekend.
It's fascinating to me because of the quarterback situation at A&M, how South Carolina is going to attack it, and A&M has never been in this deep since they got into the league with, the crown, the lead,
this is the most
the pressure.
Yeah.
They've never had to deal with that. Ole Miss didn't handle it very well earlier in the year. When you've never been there, it's
when you start feeling like you can't make a mistake. And that you're not playing free, you're not playing loose, you're playing to where don't make the mistake. The pressure just builds on you. Every play seems a little bit harder.
And that's why I come back and say, if LSU's got to win a game next week on a neutral field, and my choices are play A&M or play Alabama, I'm probably still going to play A&M. I think my chances are better to win that game than they are to beat Alabama. I'm going to prepare for both quarterbacks this time. I mean, don't be ridiculous.
That's all I wanted to hear. Like, I think this Alabama game is going to be a tough game. I feel more comfortable about LSU beating A&M, even after the fiasco we just had last week, than Alabama. Alabama for LSU is still the mental hurdle. It's beating Alabama. Everybody's talking about Alabama. They got 2 losses, and we're still worried about Alabama. I mean, this quarterback beat us last year with a terrible bad defense last
Terrible
year.
was fine.
Yeah, terrible was fine.
That word. Yeah.
But I mean, this is another game that it is tough, and I guarantee you they're not, overlooking it. I mean, this is a game that they're thinking is just as tough as any other year.
Well, they should. I certainly hope that they do, because it is still Alabama, and this season is going to look drastically different with a win here versus a loss.
Yeah.
It just is. And not for nothing, it's going to look way different in Tuscaloosa. They lose a third game, and they go into the Iron Bowl with basically, playing for the ReliaQuest Bowl, the whatever bowl. Then it's not going to be a pleasant offseason for Kalen DuBois. Probably not going to be anyway. But LSU can kind of trigger that. What gives me the most confidence is where they're playing the game.
Yeah,
playing a game in Tiger Stadium. If they're playing a game in Tuscaloosa, I'd be like, okay, this is going to be like pulling teeth. I give them a great chance in this stadium. That's if that's not number one on my list of optimistic things about the rest of the season, it's pretty damn close to the top that 3 of the 4 games are in Tiger Stadium.
I thought, didn't you have a stat about Kelly after a loss? There's a pretty good stat about the bounce back, how often he wins, the percentage he wins.
I can look it up during the break.
No.
I don't have it off the top of my head. Yeah, he's been, he's been pretty good with that stuff. He's been the stat that always stands out with him is beat the teams you're supposed to beat.
Yeah.
He's won an outlandish percentage of his games as a favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, they're not a favorite against Alabama. They might be by the time they kick the ball. But
Monday will swing some things.
They're not for the moment. We're here at Ruffino's. Restaurant opens at 11 a.m. Appetizer features today the scallops with the blood orange beret. You can do blood orange anything. I'm gonna order it. Eggplant Mary with another one of my favorite appetizer features here. These are the eggplant medallions with the lump crab meat on the top and mushrooms with hollandaise sauce. It is a generous portion for an appetizer. I can promise you that. Entree features include the grilled sea bass with the beer and bacon braised rainbow shard, dry aged New York strip, and the dessert feature. This is the spooky dirt custard, mocha custard, Oreo crumbles, and pistachio thrown in there. Can't go wrong here at Ruffino's. Come on out and see us for lunch. This is Live at Lunch, Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch.
What's up, y'all? Hey, look, if you're in the car, I'm stuck in traffic, you're by Essen Lane, why don't you come out here to the Red 6 Sports Fall Tent Sale? That's right. Today, Friday, and Saturday, the Fall Tent Sale is back. What that means is every single item in the store is 20 to 75% off. We're talking literally all the equipment you need for any sport is here. And then any shoes you need. I picked up a bunch of socks while I was here because why not? I got some gifts for my daughters. These cute little pink softball bats. Look, the point is it's all here. And quite literally for the next 3 days, every single item is 20 to 75% off. All Nike barrels, 50% off right now. You need some LSU gear. You want some comfort color tees, you want some beautiful polos, you want some hats, you want some custom jerseys. All here. And you guessed it, all on sale. So remember, any season, any reason, Baton Rouge is Red 6 Sports Fall Tent Sale going on today, tomorrow, Saturday. Come on out.
Hello, I'm Coach Sid Edwards. People ask me all the time, why are you running for mayor president? It's easier to show you. I'm standing here on Evangeline Street where earlier this year, one of my teenage football players was gunned down. Our politicians have failed us. Crime, homelessness, blight, traffic, it's all out of control. I am bringing together communities from across the parish, and together we are going to show Baton Rouge what it's like to win again.
Paid for by the Republican Party of Louisiana.
Hey, it's Hunt. This Saturday, M&L Industries is having their grand opening, and we're kicking off Kubota Orange Days at the same time. Join us from 9 to 4 for a day packed with giveaways, food, and you'll get a chance to check out the latest Kubota equipment in our brand new facility. Plus, during Kubota Orange Days, running from November the 2nd through November the 8th, you can sign up on site and get $500 off select Kubota inventory. So come out and celebrate with us Saturday at M&L Industries, your Baton Rouge Kubota dealer, located off Riga Road near Segan and I-10. We can't wait to see you there.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. If you want to channel your inner Clark Griswold and have the
finest looking house on the block this Christmas season, you need Got Lit light installers. This process couldn't be easier. You tell them what you want, they bring their own lights, they install them. If anything happens during the season, they'll fix it. When the season's over, they come take down the lights, haul them away, and store them. All you have to do is enjoy. To get your quote, visit GotLitLights.com. That's GotLitLights.com.
Hey, this is Blake Hollingsworth, Hollingsworth Richards Ford. In the month of October, we got some great deals going on. 2024 Expedition, we got $10,000 off, or you can get $5,000 off and 2.9% interest. On 2024 F-150 XLT, we've got $11,000 off, and that's with trade assistance through Ford Motor Credit. And then the last one, we haven't seen this one in a long time, 2024 Super Duty, we're doing $5,000 off. Come in and take advantage of it, or visit us online at HollingsworthRichardsFord.com.
Football season is back, and the best place to watch all the action all season long is at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus, Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana, with wall-to-wall TVs and award-winning jumbo chicken wings. What more could you possibly want? Pluckers is also a great spot to host your fantasy football draft, with the commissioner getting a gift card when you schedule in advance. Make sure Pluckers is part of your game day plans every game day all season long. Pluckers, if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Bayou Ford has the inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today. Or let Bayou Ford help you customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery. Visit BayouFord.com to shop or schedule a same-day appointment with our service department just off I-10 on Belterre and LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, the new LouisianaSports.net, plus 104.5ESPN.com. Handycast we dropped on Monday. You want to go back and look at the plays that Richard and I looked at against Texas A&M, you can do that. Rich, when did you start playing organized football?
8 years old.
8 years old. Okay. You're a receiver,
Running
tight
back.
end.
I was a running back until 10th grade.
Okay. So you handle the ball
Yeah.
a lot in your career. You ever get coached to not drop the ball before goal line?
Yeah.
You did.
I've been yelled at about it before, especially reaching out, doing all that stuff.
No, okay. Reaching out is a whole different thing. I'm talking about by yourself, going into the end zone, drop the ball.
You're told as a little kid, hand the ball to the referee.
Yes.
Score the touchdown, hand the ball to the referee.
Okay. So you got coached up.
Yeah.
At what age?
8, 9, 10.
At what age did they stop coaching you to do that? At what point were you expected to just know that?
Probably your senior year of high school, college.
Okay. So you get to the NFL, you're kind of expected to know that, right? Yeah. I can't get over it. We've watched now 2 plays in the last week, 3 days, 5 days, okay, where these guys have just freely given up the football before scored. And it's not like, we haven't seen this before. We saw it in the Oregon-Washington game last year. That was in college. And I was telling Max when we were riding over here today, the first time I ever saw this play was in the Superdome. And you'll never guess who did it if you don't know the answer to this. Guy caught the ball on his way to the end zone, nobody near him, spikes the ball on the 1 yard line. This is before replay, so the touchdown counted. It was Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice spiked the ball on the 1 yard line. I think he was in his second year. This would have been about 85 or so. And I was in the Superdome. I was a teenager watching and going, wait. And he was a great player at that point, but he wasn't Jerry Rice yet. He was still early in his career. It's hard to remember now, but Rice actually had a few struggles. He had a really bad play in the Meadowlands against the Giants. Anyway, he spikes the ball on the 1 yard line, and they looked at it on the TV cut and everything, and they watched. It's like, yeah, man, Jerry Rice spiked the ball on the 1 yard line, but there was no replay mechanism to overturn it, so he got it. Well, now you know.
They're going to get you.
And it's not just, this guy who's touching the ball for the second time in his pro career, Curiel last night, whatever his name is. Some of the best players we've seen do this. Tyrann Mathieu, one of the greatest players ever to come through LSU, got away with one in the Georgia Dome, on the way on. So I was just curious when they stopped, because to me at some point you quit coaching that. It's like teaching you how to put your shoulder pads on. At some point you just got to know.
It's almost like, they allow college players to celebrate a little bit more now. We weren't allowed to celebrate. So you're always taught, hand the ball to the referee, hand the ball to the referee, because you might get a penalty, you throw it, you do anything, you're going to get a penalty. Hand the ball to the referee. But I've also seen, like, you do crazy things when you have high emotions, and it is so hard to get in that end zone, and guys just overreact.
Well, I would think that would be more incentive to hold on to the ball.
I know.
I'm finally going to get in the end zone. Don't
and then
drop
they just
the
think
damn
they
thing.
made it, and they just it's dumb. I hate it, but I get where you're coming from.
And and how it didn't. Usually, when those type of things happen, it always comes back to bite you. But I guess I shouldn't say that, because it didn't bite the 49ers that day. They beat the Saints, and it didn't bite LSU when Matthew did it. They won the game, and the Jets ended up winning last night. But I'm just like, at what point do you have to just assume certain things, like, carry the ball over the goal line?
Yeah. It's very simple, and like I said, 99% of the time they do it, but I don't know why there's still that 1%.
I don't get it. Your dad has been I don't think he ever coach you, but
No.
I mean, not like he wasn't a coach on staff, but he has coached you your whole life, right?
He watched it practice, and he told me what I needed to do at home.
Yeah. If you spiked the ball on the 1 yard line, dropped the ball on the 1 yard line, I'm guessing what you would have got from dad would have been worse than what you would have got from the coach.
I'd have walked home. He wouldn't let me in the truck.
It blows my mind. I mean, this is the basketball equivalent is shooting at the wrong goal. The baseball equivalent is going to the plate and putting your foot on home plate to bat. I mean, this is such a basic thing.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Like you said, back in the day, they didn't have the camera. That's hard to catch when you're running as fast as those guys are. Now,
did you watch the game last night?
No, I watched the Tulane game.
Okay. I'm watching the game in real time, and he scores, and I'm like, he dropped the ball. And I already know what's going to happen. They're going to have to go and get the Zapruder film out. They're going to have to go frame by frame to see if when he releases, if the nose of the football gets over the line before he drops it.
I'm going to tell you how bad it is that they actually coach what to do in that scenario to the rest of the team now. Like, we're always taught, if you're trailing, trail your guy, and if the ball's dropped, pick it up.
Yeah.
I mean, when it's such a problem, to your point, that they're teaching the other guys, hey, just in case he drops the ball, pick it up.
This is so aggravating to me. I planned on asking you one question and getting back into the LSU stuff, and here we burned a whole segment on it because it's that aggravating to me. This is the kind of stuff that if I were a coach, there's certain things that I would, and I'm going to ask you about your personal experience. You put a film together that you show in training camp of all of these things that might happen one time in the year. Okay. Bizarre plays, what we're going to do on a safety inside of 2 minutes when we got an onside kick after a safety, or these things that might happen once every 5 years. And I put this in that category. And after that, you gotta own it. I'd put together a collage of all of the ones that had happened over the last 5 years. You've got enough evidence here. I mean, you can use I'm going to show that film once, and I'm going to say, okay, after this is how stupid this is. This is how much it could cost your team, and you have to do this. But after that, I'm kind of done talking about it. And after that, you have to take the responsibility
when I was at
yourself,
LSU,
right?
We had that film before the season, and we went through that one. There was also another.
What was on that film?
We had a guy dropping it before. Like I said, no celebration. So I'm trying to remember if it was Kansas or somebody. The quarterback, last play of the game, runs into the end zone with it, holding it out. And right when he crossed the line, he threw it up in the air and celebrated with his team. Well, that was celebration. They flagged him, moved him back. Then they missed the extra point. They lose the game. So there was other things like that just dumb plays that costly things that have cost you a win or cost you big in different games.
Rule changes. They take you through rule changes, right?
Yeah.
The
What
Brad
you can do to
Wing play
celebrate,
was
the proper way to celebrate, the wrong way to celebrate.
But you were gone by the time Wing got
Brad
there,
Wing
but
celebrated
that
on the way
was
to the end zone.
an emphasis that year. Never got called quite like that, again.
Brought the touchdown back, right?
Brought the touchdown back, yeah. And you saw a few of those that year, but after that they sort of
was dumb.
It was.
But at that point, they were trying to take celebration out of football.
They were going to make an
bad.
example out of it that year, and they did. Then the rule changes, like 2 years ago with the blocking below the waist outside the tackles. I remember when they got into the taunting. That was one of the funnier lines in the 30 for 30 on the U. And see, every year they'd show us a film of all of the things you couldn't do. And this year they're showing us all of the things last year that would be a foul. And he goes, it was all us.
Yeah.
The standing over them, the stepping over them, the talking back, the dancing over the top, pointing, all those things. Every example they showed was us, at Miami. Okay, I kind of got off on a I'm still I just think really again.
You go from the Brad Wing play to where they flag you, call back a touchdown, and then 2019 was my favorite year of LSU celebrations ever. The whole team celebrated after every time they scored, and it was kind of welcomed. Everybody loved it.
Yeah, let them have a little fun. With it. I'm not for. I always hated the thing where you get in, you spike the ball, and then you go, celebrate with your teammates. There's a big difference between celebrating and taunting.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're celebrating with your teammates, short of doing that thing in the end zone with the dog lifting his leg with the egg bowl a couple of years ago. If you're not in somebody else's face, I'm gonna give you some leeway here.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you act like a dog in the end zone, but I'm gonna give you a little bit of leeway. We're here at Ruffino's. We're brought to you by Home Bank, Louisiana-based since 1908. Business and personal banking solutions for all of your needs. Right now, some great CD rates. And, the thing about the CD rates right now, not only are you getting great rates, but you've got a lot of different choices for longer or shorter terms, and some shorter-term CDs that are available right now. And minimum balances are very low. So you can get into this thing for a reasonable amount of money. Talk to the local bankers here at any Baton Rouge location, Corporate, Sherwood Forest, Longform Village, and Bluebonnet. You can also find Home Bank locations in Acadiana, New Orleans, and North Shore, Natchez, and Houston. And you can visit home24bank.com for more information. Home Bank, member FDIC. Live at lunch from Ruffino's 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
At the Home Depot, we know you can't control everything, like when your guests arrive too early for Saturday college football. But you can control your grill. With the Traeger Timberline XL, you can watch the game, not the grill. Monitor your football feast from anywhere using the Traeger app. With the Timberline XL, you can bake, smoke, sear, fry, and saute. That's Desmond Howard level versatility.
Huddle up. The food's done.
Defend your game time with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Attention football fans, the season's heating up, and that means it's time for jaw-dropping plays, spectacular touchdowns, and memories that'll last a lifetime. So if you're looking to grab the best seats for all the excitement, Vivid Seats is your go-to playmaker. With an incredible selection of tickets and a game-changing rewards program, Vivid Seats is your ticket to every thrilling moment. Don't miss out. Experience it live with Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Boudreaux's Electrical, where every client is a VIP 24/7. No subscriptions, just unwavering commitment to your power needs with Generac home standby generators. Boudreaux's treats you like family, not just another outage. Visit BoudreauxElectrical.com.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. While leaning over the fence, your neighbor said you could save money bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. Your neighbor leaned over a little too much and broke your fence. Dumb news. Somehow fence wood is more expensive than wood. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and to plant really tall shrubs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
Get your holidays started with the perfect tree in your perfect style from the Home Depot. Whether you want something that you can assemble in a few clicks, steal the show with over 2,000 color-changing bulbs, or a tree with lights that can be controlled by remote or foot pedal. The Home Depot has it all in our huge assortment of premium trees. Plus, get free delivery on over 2 million items this holiday from the Home Depot. Subject to availability, see homedepot.com/delivery for details.
Bow and waterfowl season is open, and Southern Outfitters is your one-stop shop. Fully stocked with decoys, full-service bow repair, and sales. Tree stands, hang-ons, and hunting apparel for the entire family. Visit Southern Outfitters in Zachary and at southernoutfittersla.com.
Home ownership. At Progressive, we know it's part of the American dream. It's sea to shining sea, and water damage as far as the eye can see.
It's America.
It's freshly mowed grass and a fence that was freshly vandalized by a pack of unruly teens.
It's America.
It's also around-the-clock protection when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, which can help keep the American dream of home ownership alive and kicking. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Football season is here. Do you have your picks in on Sleeper? Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and you could win up to 100 times your money. For new users, Sleeper will even match your first deposit with up to $100 credit to your account. Just download the Sleeper app today and use code MONDAY for a credit up to $100 match on your first deposit. That's code MONDAY. Must be 18 years in most states and in state where it is legal. Promo code and other restrictions apply. Visit sleeper.com. Please wager responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-426-2537 for help. Sponsored by Sleeper, a Blitz product.
Make LeBear's Baton Rouge your game day headquarters this season. They've got the biggest screens around, and now you can bet and dine at ESPN Bet in person. Plus, sign up today for Cover 5's SEC contest. Go to the Cover 5 app, click on Join a League, and enter the code LABRSEC24. Pick each SEC game that week, play against your friends, and enter to win weekly and season-long prizes. Not a member? Get the Pin Play app today. LeBear's Baton Rouge, your live sports headquarters. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966 for help.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Back here at Ruffino's Live at Lunch, Lock of the Week Friday. Tex Morris, Edward Jones Investments. So here's the official number. Max got this for us. Brian Kelly, after a loss in his career, this is all of his games, 41-22, but at LSU he's 7-1. The only time that they have lost back-to-back games occurred in 22 when they lost the final game to A&M and then lost in the SEC championship game to Georgia. So his record off of a loss is really good. Rich, we were talking during the break how this only happened like once in your career. Yeah. It was the longest 3 weeks of your life because you lose a game, you want to come back, redeem yourself. You come back, you lose again.
Then you start questioning yourself. You're like, okay, what do we have to do to get it back? I mean, then you're sitting there. The locker room gets real quiet. The practice fields get quiet. And like people are all just kind of losing sucks. Like I know the fans take it bad, and like I still take it bad. Nobody takes it worse than the guys in that locker room. The amount of blood, sweat, and tears and energy you put into it, and then you go into every game confident. Like I've told you, you have to have that mindset. And then it's like a knock at your ego when you lose. And then you do it twice. Then you start guessing, how do we get back? And then it really puts that doubt in there. So getting that win right after a loss is big.
Brian Kelly said in the first bye week that they were practicing, just it was going to be normal. This time it's a little bit different. If you were Brian Kelly, how would you have approached this week coming off of that loss?
I got guys like Dellinger. He's spending the whole week in the training room.
He's got. Let me stop you right there. He's got a high ankle sprain. They're talking optimistically. I'm sorry. If he comes back from a high ankle sprain in 2 weeks, that's a. Well, I ain't seen anybody come back from a true high ankle sprain. Now maybe I'm no doctor or anything like that, but a high ankle sprain in 2 weeks. Come on.
Yeah. But I also saw him warming up on the field trying to play again. And like he was trying to get back out there. He was moving. You hear high ankle sprain that's thrown out there. How bad is it really? Like, is it just a bad high ankle sprain, or did he tweak it and they're calling it a high ankle sprain? Only he knows that. Only the locker room, the staff knows that. But the guys that are anywhat nicked up, I mean, we spent a lot of hours in the training room. This is when you try to get back healthy. You watch a lot more film. There's a lot of film time going on. You're going to practice. The only time we got in a little bit of the older guys got just shoulder pads. Now the younger guys, they wore them butts out, and they usually did young guys, what Miles called young guys go. They had scrimmages, and we used to go out there and watch it. He'd sometimes let the older guys coach, call the plays. But it's a lot of recovery and just a lot of mental work.
Yeah, remember I remember it was Donardo or Saban, or he's called the Puppy Bowl. We're gonna have a Puppy Bowl. That was during bowl practices. We're gonna have a Puppy Bowl.
I felt so bad for him because everybody that didn't really get a lot of playing time in the game, they had to go out there full pads every day, and then we're sitting in there in our shoulder pads and our helmet. And we're excited just because as soon as they were done, you go throw a dip in, sit on the sideline like I'm gonna watch these guys try to kill each other.
It's just wrong, man. Can the running game be fixed, improved, whatever you want to call it? I mean, it's ninth playing date now. It's getting late early.
Yes. This is a frustrating question to me because there are times, and I've showed you, and when you go back and watch, there are holes and there are good designs. It just doesn't seem that we compliment off of it. The zone read at this point in the season, it's got to go. It cuts off half the field, and I saw what they tried to do with the zone read when I talked about the counter with no pullers. I mean, that's a zone read.
You need to explain that.
Okay, so our big run, our 10-yard run in A&M with Durham, we had just a 5 linemen. We had Durham start off on the right side, motion back over to the left side, and if you watch some of the film and the zone read, the running back's always going to. He can only run one direction typically in our design. If he's on the left, we're going to run zone read right. The ball's going to the right 99% of the time. Well, this past week, we put in like a counter with no pullers, which means he started off on the left. We hammered the ball. He took 2 steps to the right and then cut back to the left. And you had Campbell seal off to the left. Dellinger worked with the center where they doubled the nose tackle up to the linebacker. And we had a seam. It was open. I don't ever remember us going back to that play again. But there was things that we tried to do to offset that we're showing you where we're running the ball. But you can also go watch the film now to where every time we run a zone read, no one gives a damn about Nussmeier. No one cares. No one's looking at him. No one's even, not even flinching. They're all just flying to the ball. And at this point, it's putting the cutoff blockers in a bad situation. It's putting the double team blocks and the combo blocks in a bad situation, and it's putting Durham in a bad situation. He doesn't have time to let things develop because it happens so fast.
Now we get into one of our favorite topics on off week: self-scouting. Okay, if you can say, and let's just say that your 99% is even close to what they're actually doing, even if you're off a little bit.
I might be exaggerating a little bit.
Okay, but
it's close.
85. Anything you're doing 85% or more of the time is pretty easy for the other guys. So if you're self-scouting yourself at LSU and you're going, man, look, every time we move, and I watched the film with you, okay, Charlie, watch. They moved it back over this side. They're running to this side. I mean, you see it before it's coming. If you and now I know because you told me, the other guys know.
Defensive coordinators are smarter than I am. I talked to a buddy about it yesterday. If I was LSU in this bye week, I'd have spent so much time getting in pistol and just getting even sets to where you can go different ways. Pistol is the next best thing to eye. We're not asking anybody to go back to power eye and do all that stuff, but then at least you are in a symmetrical set to where they can't tell you which way you're going.
Is that simple?
Yeah, to me it is.
I mean, some of this stuff is in the play. To run that play you're talking about, Durham had to make a hard cut. He had to have good vision and acceleration to make that play work. That's a big ask.
A special player has to be able to do that.
That's a big ask against these SEC defenses.
Yeah, a guy that can't move, is not that shifty and quick. I mean, that play probably is a slower develop and doesn't hit.
And gets 2 yards.
And gets 2 yards because he doesn't hit the hole at the right time. But there's things they can do. We've ran some pistol, and the thing to me that is I would like to see is when we get in the goal line, we've gotten some more creative run sets recently. We did the T, then we motioned back to with the 3 backs. I'm not saying go 3 back in the middle of the field, but there's creativity there where we've gotten guys behind the quarterback. That just seems to me that it's an easier change just to do that at a pistol in the middle of the field.
They threw the ball off that formation, right? Wasn't that the fade to Taylor?
Fade to Taylor, yeah.
Okay, so if Taylor's in the game and Green's in the game, okay, down in the goal line area, I'm all for that. That's I'm talking about 1st and 10 from the 25. Some semblance of balance.
You can turn Taylor into a fullback. Then that's what we're really doing with him. When you put him offset in the wing, a lot of times he's flying across the backside to kick off, or he's leading up in the hole when we do run it that way. And there's different things they can do. I just think that to just throw in some more pistol formations to where you're not always, running 85% of the time out of the zone read when he's on the left, you're going to the right.
They put Chris Hilton got back for this game. They targeted him a couple of times. There was a missed jump. There was another miscommunication. There was one that just looked like a bad throw. When you looked at it, did you see them rolling coverage to him to make sure somebody was over the top?
They weren't paying attention to him yet. He hadn't, like what we talked about, he's got to go out there and make a few plays.
This explains why they kept talking, because you get that this way. Man, look, he just got back. Why are you targeting him? Well, because if he ever does make a play, then
look, he was rusty. He had 2 big plays he could have had that he just mistimed jumped really early. Put Nussmeier in a bad situation. One, he had his guy Nussmeier underthrew it, and he still missed the jump. But you saw when I watched him run, you saw what we were missing. Nobody runs like him out there.
Nussmeier got to bounce back off of 3 interceptions. He has never lacked for confidence, but you can get shook up a little bit after a half like that. How do you think he responds?
I think he does fine. Like we talked about, he was pressing so hard when they can't get anything in the run game. After that first half, I don't know how many successful runs we had in the second half. Not very many at all, because, like I said, we had 23 rushing yards in the second drive of the game. We finished with 24. I felt like he got to the point to where he tried to make a play on every throw, and he started pressing. And when you start pressing like that, you don't make the smartest decisions. You just start panicking, and that's something that I think he can bounce back from. Look, he's up to throw 1 or 2 a game. And we've seen that his whole career at this point. He's going to take shots, but he can't take dumb shots like the ones he had in the other game.
Kelly said that too. We got to get to the point where Garrett's not feeling like he's got to make a play every flipping time. I think was.
Well, see,
I think that was almost his exact quote.
We talked the same way about Jaden Daniels at one point, but Jaden had a different arsenal where, okay, I don't have to just throw it. I can take off with my legs. It made it a lot easier for him when we said with the defense being bad last year. And he felt like the pressure on Jaden. I remember talking about it every game. He feels like he has to score on every drive or they'll lose the game because they don't expect the defense to get any stops. But he had different weapons where he didn't have to just do it with his arm. Garrett feels like he has to make every single play with his arm.
And it's different, right? Daniels felt like he had to make a play every time because the defense was going to give it up. Here, you've got a reasonable defense now, but you don't have a running game.
Yeah.
So now you've got to make a play every time with your arm for a different reason.
Yeah.
We're brought to you by Total Maintenance, AC and heating, generators, electricity, plumbing. Total Maintenance, your one-stop shop for all of these needs. One of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC and heating companies since 1980. Their slogan has been service today, every day, so you don't have to go to sleep hot. Or coming up in the winter months, you don't have to go to sleep cold. Over the years, Total Maintenance has expanded their operation. Now a full staff in New Orleans, authorized dealer for Carrier, American Standard, Daycan, and Rheem AC units, and Generac and Cummings generators. For all your electrical and plumbing needs in Baton Rouge, it's 480-1000. In New Orleans, 841-3300. Service today, every day. Total Maintenance. We'll take a break. Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments from Ruffino's on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
What's up, y'all? Hey, look, if you're in the car, I'm stuck in traffic, you're by Essen Lane, why don't you come out here to the Red Six Sports Fall Tin Sale? That's right. Today, Friday, and Saturday, the Fall Tin Sale is back. What that means is every single item in the store is 20 to 75% off. We're talking literally all the equipment you need for any sport is here. And then any shoes you need. I picked up a bunch of socks while I was here because why not? I got some gifts for my daughters. These cute little pink softball bats. Look, the point is it's all here. And quite literally for the next 3 days, every single item is 20 to 75% off. All Nike barrels, 50% off right now. You need some LSU gear. You want some comfort color tees, you want some beautiful polos, you want some hats, you want some custom jerseys. All here. And you guessed it, all on sale. So remember, any season, any reason, Baton Rouge is Red Six Sports Fall Tin Sale going on today, tomorrow, Saturday. Come on out.
If you're a small business owner, you've probably noticed how the big banks like to force you into one-size-fits-all financial service products. At Neighbors Federal Credit Union, we've created a suite of flexible commercial checking accounts designed to fit the specific needs of your local business. And with 9 full-service locations throughout Greater Baton Rouge, we're always just around the corner. We're a local small business looking out for other local small businesses. Learn more about Neighbors commercial checking accounts by visiting neighborsfcu.org. Neighbors Federal Credit Union. We're here for you. Insured by NCUA.
Yo, Jacob and T-Bob here. And look, we've been talking about the All-Star Toyota rentals for a while. We wanted to remind you about them.
First, if your car is in service with them, they have daily rental rates starting at $5 per hour for a minimum of 2 hours.
Second, you can try before you buy with an extended test drive.
Third, they have daily, weekly, and monthly rentals with flexible plans and competitive rates. You can rent a new Toyota for as little as $60 per day.
Check out their website at allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com/rental. People you know, cars you trust, All-Star Toyota.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Take a swing around the parish to one of Breck's 5 golf courses, 2 championship courses, Santa Maria and Beaver Creek, and 3 courses for the more casual golfers, the popular 18-hole Webb Park and 2 9-hole courses, City Park and the newly renovated J.S. Clark. Breck's courses are designed to challenge every level of golfer from beginner to pro. So come and get into the swing of things. Book your tee time online or find a course near you at golf.breck.org. That's golf.breck.org.
Hey guys, this is Kellen Martin, branch manager at First South Farm Credit in Zachary. When I talk to people about buying land, I always ask, what are your goals with this property? I want to make sure that we set up a loan that fits you and what you're trying to do with your land. If it's a place to build your dream home out in the country, or if it's a place to raise big deer, those are different goals. You want a land lender who understands that and can give you different options based on your goals. If you're looking to buy land or refinance, call me, Kellen Martin, at First South Farm Credit in Zachary, or find us online at firstsouthland.com.
But I think they actually
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
But no LSU game. We got a few minutes here to talk about what's going on in the rest of the Southeastern Conference. I think there's some fascinating storylines. First of all, Ole Miss going to Arkansas.
Yeah.
Arkansas bounced back in a big way. I know Mississippi State's not very good, but they were playing with at least a little bit of a heartbeat, and Arkansas just thrashed them for over 650 yards. Now, Ole Miss coming off the sandwich spot, Oklahoma last week, where they kind of milled around in the first half and got in the second half. Georgia coming to Oxford next week. And in between that, I'm just going to tell you right now, this is in my 5-pack. 11 o'clock game in Fayetteville, in between Oklahoma, who's not very good, but it's still Oklahoma,
Yeah.
and Georgia coming to Oxford next week. You're giving me more than a touchdown.
We've seen some crazy things happen between Ole Miss and Arkansas in the past. It always seems to be one of those games. It's always tight. It's interesting, and I just feel like when I think of that series, I think of crazy things happening in a game.
Yeah,
and that's going to be a good one to start the day with.
Well, they have put so much into this season, and they've already lost at least one game more than they were supposed to. Ole Miss is capable of, if they're capable of throwing in a clunker at home against Kentucky, who's not good at all, they're certainly capable of being in a look-ahead spot. Ole Miss could lose this game and beat Georgia next week.
Yeah,
I'm here to tell you. So it's going to be fun to open the day. And then the cocktail party. Florida has been competitive. They have been playing hard. They hadn't been dead team walking, I would say, since they lost to A&M. The last month has been mostly good. They've won 3 games, and they gave Tennessee all they wanted in Knoxville. Georgia, best team in the SEC, I guess.
But they seem to play down. Like they play really big in big games.
They
and
played
play
down to Auburn. They played down to Mississippi State. They won.
Yeah.
And they were never going to lose either one of those games, but they didn't exactly blow the door to Kentucky on the road. Florida punches chance tomorrow.
I hope so. Just make it interesting. You know what we talked about earlier. The more teams with more losses, it just makes us feel even better.
Yeah, and then we already talked about Texas A&M and South Carolina.
That's the
Enjoy
one
the
for me.
off weekend. We'll be back next week. Looking
I'll
for
try to sneak over to the Beauregard see y'all Saturday.
Yeah, we're gonna hunker down there. Football Sunday on Sunday at 10 a.m. We'll take a break. Come back with our number 2 here live at lunch from Ruffino's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Hey, Tiger fans, this is head coach Brian Kelly. When running a football program or any organization, core values are so important to the success of the operation. Integrity, honesty, and family is what they're all about at Hollingsworth Richards Ford, and I've experienced that firsthand. Now in my 3rd year here in Baton Rouge, I've gotten to know them through their support of our football program. So it's simple. All of you truck buyers across the state, and I know there are a lot of you, when it's time for that brand new vehicle, go to Hollingsworth Richards Ford and tell them Coach Kelly sent you.
The Gulf Coast has long been a key hub for Shell and the U.S. energy supply. With over 100 years of history in Louisiana, Shell remains committed to transforming our business. Our promise? To deliver lower carbon fuels and products. Shell is leading the energy evolution into the next 100 years. The creative thinking of thousands of Louisiana employees who will power progress in our state and our future. Shell is the rhythm of Louisiana.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. If you want to channel your inner Clark Griswold and have the finest looking house on the block this Christmas season, you need Got Lit light installers. This process couldn't be easier. You tell them what you want, they bring their own lights, they install them. If anything happens during the season, they'll fix it. When the season's over, they come take down the lights, haul them away, and store them. All you have to do is enjoy. To get your quote, visit GotLitLights.com. That's GotLitLights.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the inventory to get you in a new truck or SUV today. Or let us help you customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery. Visit BayouCDJR.com to shop or schedule a same-day appointment with our service department just off I-10 on Belterra and LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Skip Burtman. The championship baseball program has everything players need to win, from equipment to facilities and, of course, great coaching. Business owners need a business banker that combines experience with resources like Citizen Bank and Trust.
That's right, Skip. This is Brooks Lewis of Citizens Bank. From lines of credit to commercial loans, we have all the financial services your business needs to be a champion. Citizens Bank and Trust. Business bankers, business partners. Member FDIC.
Bow and waterfowl season is open, and Southern Outfitters is your one-stop shop. Fully stocked with decoys, full-service bow repair, and sales. Tree stands, hang-ons, and hunting apparel for the entire family. Visit Southern Outfitters in Zachary and at SouthernOutfittersLA.com.
Insurance companies have teams of professionals to fight your claim. If you want to know what your case is really worth, I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7970.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX, Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2, Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
The restaurant is now open here at Ruffino's. Come on by and check us out here for lunch, where the appetizer features include the seared scallops, eggplant Mary, big eggplant medallions. It's just delicious. One of my favorite appetizers here. The eggplant Mary, jumbo lump crab meat on the top. Grilled sea bass on your entree features. The new dry-aged New York strip Diane. And the dessert is the spooky dirt custard. That's smoked custard with Oreo crumbles and pistachio. Your dessert feature here at Ruffino's. We're going to be getting into a lot of picks and a lot of games. This is a pretty big story from one of the weekend's bigger games. SMU quarterback Kevin Jennings has been cleared and will start against Pittsburgh tomorrow. That is the 7 o'clock game.
What about Eli?
Well, that's
he gonna play.
Yeah,
you know Eli. He's gonna play.
He was cleared Wednesday.
He was.
Yeah, he was cleared.
What's he got?
It was, gosh, I forgot. But Narduzzi cleared him on his radio show. He said that he's good to go. So, one of the bigger games this weekend. Sneaky big game. SMU and Pitt is not what we thought the last week or the first weekend in November would be a big game, but it is a big game. Good morning, Jimmy. How are you?
I'm doing great, Charlie. It's Friday, Breeders' Cup weekend, college football. I mean, it's a great weekend.
It is.
It's a great weekend. My boy Big Earl, he's in Del Mar. So best wishes to a local owner, Greg Tramontaine. He's got a horse running this weekend, Quick Kick. So that's he's out there with the crew. Greg's a nice guy. I know a lot of common friends and stuff, and always loves talking about the horses. And we'll have Chris Macero, who's live, and he was at the sales earlier this week. Just kind of setting the scene for us.
Yeah,
out at Del Mar for Breeders' Cup.
Races start at 1:30 our time today.
That's the card.
Yeah,
I don't know about the Breeders' Cup.
Right, just the races themselves.
They raced yesterday too, but that was just local racing. But I think that's right. That's right. And Charlie, I hate to steal your lead here, but
go right ahead, Jimmy.
This is we the bad beats kind of, they. Yeah, I mean. A little overdone sometimes, huh?
It's still one of my favorite segments to watch. They lose me a little bit when it's
too obscure.
Yeah, that's it.
Come on, give us the ones that we had money on.
Yeah, I love Van Pelt, and I think he's great.
Yeah.
But they've gone out of their way to find the North Dakota
second half scoring in the Lehigh game.
Yeah, that's
second half total. Oh man, this is a tough one. Oh, who's betting that? So here's one for you. Our buddy Jeff G. He is an Auburn guy, and he first he picked him up. He was one of our podcast, Sports Bettor's Paradise listeners, and so I met him down at the Bois Rivage. He drives down from Atlanta, and big Auburn guy, and loves his Tigers, and then he's got introduced. Now he listens to our daily show and loves it. Very complimentary. Just it's like, but where would be this one? just the Auburn and the Florida and the the Ole Miss. It's just, we sat there and watched
the
Ole Miss.
Gumbo.
It's great, man. It's great. And so he sent me one. He had a couple of prop bets plus 10,000, plus 10,000. Corley first touchdown. Is that a tough one?
Yeah.
Brutal. Corley, anytime TD, plus 3,600.
Oh. I'm out of breath.
I mean,
I don't even have the heart to ask him how he came up with that, because Corley has, prior to last night, has touched the ball one time all year, which is why you're getting those kind of
if
odds.
you watch as much college football as he was a stud at Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
I mean, a stud. I mean, he was the guy that, I mean, for multiple years.
I remember
there.
when we were doing our draft prep, a name that came up a lot. Just a dumb play. It's just dumb.
Hershey was on it. You know, the only thing is, did he cross the goal? I'm like, no, huh?
No.
Really?
When you were watching it live?
Yes.
Did you think he dropped the ball?
I couldn't tell in real time, but as soon as they showed the highlight,
But you knew it was going to be a reviewed play, right?
I kind of didn't.
I thought it was going to be a reviewed play. I'm like, oh man, he dropped it early.
It happened so quick, Charlie, and the shot, it was kind of, the ball was hidden.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was in or out.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
No, as soon as that ball came out, I went, oh man, did he drop it?
No,
early?
I didn't.
Yeah,
I
did.
Because I just can't believe that they're still doing this. I just can't believe that you're not. I mean, can it be? I mean, like, put the league in there and say, man, you're suspended 3 games, 6 games. Pick your one. I mean, we know New England. You know, they'll cut you. But I mean, no, like I mean, I guess the team's going to be the only way. But no, it's our league policy. You know, you're sitting for a month. Are you doing something that stupid? That's selfish.
I could see a team policy where you're doing it. Why would the league doesn't care? Then you're
okay, but you could do it with the team.
Within the team, sure. I was talking about it with Richard. You know, you get that list of things, that video that they show him. These are all he was telling they did this at LSU. These are all of the selfish things you can do. Back when he was there, a big emphasis was on no celebration. Okay, you do this celebration, this is how it can cost you. And they show them the film, and they do that. This has got to be a part of your film. This is one of those things that you can put together a collage of about what I can think of 4 or 5 right off the top of my head where this is happening.
Deshaun Watson, Monday night, the Eagles against the Cowboys.
I mean, if you want to do some college examples, Tyrann Mathieu, the Washington-Oregon game last year, where the guy that was on like the 2-yard line.
Regular season or
the regular season game? Yeah,
okay.
He drops the ball on like the 2-yard line. You know.
Oh, with the other Washington game. No, there was another Washington game where they did it.
Yeah, maybe
with the linebacker.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
No, that wasn't the Oregon game.
Okay, well, the Washington play, you could put together.
Yeah, they were favored by like 17 and won by like 12.
I told a story when Jerry Rice did this in the Superdome back in the 80s. You can put
I
together.
heard you earlier. I knew exactly what you're talking about.
You can put the collage together and say, "This is really stupid. This is the
Leon
easiest
let
thing."
the Super Bowl.
Leon let the Super Bowl.
It's happened so much, and where you're not even seeing what I want to see, what I want to coach. Man, you get inside the 5, you better cradle that ball.
Yeah.
You don't know where it's coming. That's all they can do at that point is punch it out. I mean, we saw that last year in the AFC Championship game.
And that's a coaching point for sure. Is ball protection inside the 5-yard line.
They got to cradle it now.
Yeah.
I mean, you see a tight end when he sees guys coming behind him, they cradle the ball in the middle. You know.
But I can't get on the coaching staff for this one. This is something that you got to know as a player. You know, you can coach.
Charlie, he's not being stressed enough. He's not being coached enough. It's not consequence enough. You heard him.
Consequences, yes, but
that's coaching.
Okay, well, if you want to say that there's not
when he was coaching before, no, I'm going to make it clear. You're not going to do this.
Yeah. I'm going to make it clear.
You see New England?
Yeah.
I mean, so in Belichick, you tell me of all the ones
ball protection. I'm fine with that, but I'm not going to tell him every day that when you're running across the goal line and there's nobody around you, don't drop the ball. I mean, at some point you got to know that. I mean, that's player responsibility. How many times do I have to tell you?
Charlie, it has to be coached. I mean, these guys are making a gazillion dollars. You have to coach it at this point. We see it happen weekly.
I'm coaching ball.
Pitt's got away with it
yes.
because the damn NFL's too cheap to put a pylon cam.
He got away with it. Matthew got away with it. Washington got away with it. The Jets got away with it. I'm going to coach it, but I'm not going to.
Jets didn't get away with it. Cost him a touchdown.
Well,
Tell Jeff G he got away with it.
He didn't get away with it. The Jets won the game.
He didn't get away with it.
The Jets won the game is what I mean.
That hurt. That hurt this guy. I mean,
I was confident it was going to cost them the game at the time just because
they had a whopping 0 points at the time.
Yeah, it was a 0-0 game.
I mean,
I'm surprised it didn't come back to bite them, because those kind of things usually do.
and then
I'll coach ball security, just to kind of wrap up. I'll coach ball security, but there's some things that you have to, are just so obvious. Wooden used to teach his guys on the first day of practice how to roll up their socks so they didn't get blisters, but he didn't coach rolling up their socks every day. Okay, if you're not bright enough as a player when you're running across the goal line all by yourself to not drop the ball on the 1 yard line, I'm not sure I can help you.
It's happening way more frequently. It's not being coached enough. I'm sorry. I mean, rookie mini camp, whatever. I mean, you got to.
Yeah, I'm going to coach it.
Part of coaching is conveying your message. You can preach it, but if they're not listening to it, responding, you're not getting through to them. Well, that's part on you too. I'm going to make it real clear. I mean, if you got to put a team policy, you're not playing. You're not active for a month. Sorry.
I'm with you.
How's that going to hurt your stats?
That's going to make discipline, and that will cost you money in a lot of cases.
Okay, well, I mean, and if you do something that's stupid and still do it, knowing the team policy, Charlie, there's ways to coach this. I'm sorry. And yes, there's some. But it's happening.
All I'm saying is I'm not going to go to practice every day and go, guys, don't forget when you're running across the goal line, don't drop the ball. That's got to be common knowledge at some point.
It's common that it's not. You see it every week.
And I'll put the guy on the bench if that happens.
You see it. I mean, there's way. Tell me during the Belichick era at New England how many times you saw it.
None.
He got his point across. None. Okay, it's coached. It's just being coached. Well, so I mean,
I'm more inclined to blame the player there than the coach.
The player, man. But did you hear it's unacceptable? That's a cheap ass word. No. Unacceptable is no. He ain't getting. No, he's going to realize sitting on the bench for a month. Yeah. He's going to realize it's unacceptable because our team policy is you do this and you sit for a month.
These are the most basic things, is what drives you crazy. This is professional football. Pitts, Corley, and the guy from Chicago who was waving to the crowd while Washington. These are things that you would get on 8-year-olds for. It's like, son, you have to pay attention while the ball's being snapped. Son, you have to carry the ball all the way across the goal line. These are the absolute youth football things.
But I'm also, wait a minute, we got 6 seconds left in this go, or whatever it is, 5 seconds, 3 seconds left in this game, and I got 3 timeouts, and one of my players is acting an ass. I can call timeout.
You can. I'm convinced he didn't see him. Maybe somebody should have seen him.
Not. What is he looking at if he's not looking at his players on the field? Charlie was going on the whole time. I mean, this is not like a split second.
That kid was over there by the hash. He might have been looking in the center of the field at where his other DBs were positioned. I can't imagine he wouldn't have called timeout if he saw him. Should he have seen him? Yeah, you're the head coach. You're responsible for everything.
What are you looking at? Your phone?
He could have been looking at the other 10 guys. Maybe he was looking at his spy.
No, that's inexcusable to me. No, that's not.
Oh, Eberflus is going to take the fall for that at the end of the season.
I mean, and he doubled down and said no, that had nothing to do with it. When Daniels, his everything he could reaches the 2 or 3 yard line. Take your pick. I mean, yeah, that 13 yards did make a little bit of a difference.
That made a difference. Out waving to the crowd.
And then, of course, and so they also talking about the broadcast. And here's my other one, the soapbox too. The left guard for Houston's really struggling. I mean, the fans are on him. He's really struggling, and they show him. He pancakes a guy on a run block, but I mean, he is just getting beat. Quentin Williams is killing him. Right. And maybe that was one that was Buckner was going to like, whoa. Oh, he's a former first-round pick.
Yeah.
I mean, why do they keep rolling him out there?
Yeah, right. And,
I mean,
and Quentin Williams beats a lot of people. He's a great player, but
this guy was. I was like, well, if he
sucks
sucks so bad,
yeah.
I mean, there's nobody else that could play guard.
You know, the other one that drove me crazy, and this is on the coaches, on the field goal that Houston makes. Okay, they run over the snapper. I mean, the guy ran over the snapper, which is a rule.
Yeah.
You cannot hit that guy.
Yeah.
And he makes no attempt. Now, that to me was a player that doesn't know the rule. No, well, if you're not coaching that rule, that's not common knowledge for some of those guys. And then it worked out for the Jets because he made that field goal. They took the points off the board. He missed the other one, but that was a dumb play. That to me, that's
horrible. It's horrible. We're live here at Ruffino's. We got some great features tonight and all throughout the weekend. Scallops, the seared scallops of blood orange beurre blanc with the fennel and apple salad. Excuse me, eggplant Mary. Hal's already talking about. Look at the size of this eggplant.
Some huge portions. The
Jose Canseco size eggplant medallions with the jumbo lump crab meat, mushrooms with the hollandaise and Creole Meuniere sauce. Grilled sea bass sold, grilled Chilean sea bass, beer and bacon braised rainbow chard with the pickled red onion. Suggested wine pairing is the Peugeot Chardonnay out of Napa. The dry-aged New York strip Diane, 12-ounce dry-aged New York strip, creamy mushroom with Dijon demi-glace with the sautéed spinach. Suggested wine pairing, Frank Family Cabernet out of Napa. Dessert features today, spooky dirt custard. Man, poor kids.
Rained pretty good last night.
Got washed out last night. Oh, I got so much candy. Mocha custard with Oreo crumbles and pistachio biscotti. Poor kids.
Us too.
I was depressed, man.
We could have put the little jack-o'-lantern out after.
South Baton Rouge Rams will have a sweet tooth next week.
How about the kids show some grit? None of them out there. I mean, what? Their parents probably just got them their candy, so they didn't have to go get it. In the rain.
No toughness out of the trick-or-treaters.
It was a slight drizzle, but it was constant.
Yeah.
And it's it's a lot of soccer player trick-or-treaters.
They slipped and fell, sold it.
I have one
over.
girl come to the door. I said, "Do you have enough? Take the whole thing."
Right.
I mean,
give her the whole jack-o'-lantern.
Sweet child. Point. No, sir, I have had enough. I mean, sweet.
We'll get into the picks when we come back. Chris Massaro joins us from Del Mar live at lunch, presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
The Pierreport store and the Thibodeau store, helping you fix things up around the house, and not just with supplies and tools, but with expert instruction. Listen, when you get into one of these projects, and if you do it yourself, you can save a lot of money, but you may not know what you're doing, like me. You can go follow a YouTube video if you want to, but sometimes that's a little bit bulky. So what you want to do is you want to talk to one of their experts. No matter what the issue is, what you're doing at the home, they'll be able to walk you through step by step. You can call them and ask for advice if you run into a roadblock. Most importantly, they're going to save you time. They're going to save you money without needing unused supplies and wasting your time going with procedures that don't work. Thibodeau store and the Pierreport store. In Pierreport, they've been there for 113 years. They just celebrated their anniversary last Saturday. ThibodeauStore.com for items to be delivered, or they can help you with the pickup. Power tools, hand tools, lots of supplies and unique items from the grills, the pots, and the furniture that they have down at the Thibodeau store. 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau. And online, it's ThibodeauStore.com.
Workbox can handle all of your movable storage needs, commercial and residential. Our shipping containers come in various sizes, 8x8, 8x10, 8x20, or even 8x40 feet. Not just one size. These units can be customized for any use. Custom lunchrooms, offices, work sites for plumbers or welders, dual purpose, part office, part storage, climate control, shelving, lighting, using different materials, whatever you need. Give my buddy Martin Padial at Workbox a call at 343-4886, 343-4886, and workboxllc.com.
Do you love golf but struggle to find the time to play? Schneider's Golf Mechanics on Bluebonnet has 2 state-of-the-art simulators where you can play 18 holes in an hour, anytime, rain or shine. Schneider's Golf Mechanics. Fix your clubs, fix your game. SchneidersGolfMechanics.com.
Hi, this is Gordy Rush, inviting you to elevate brand visibility and ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Introducing Guarantee Media Digital. Secure your free digital audit now at GuaranteeMedia.com.
Attention, vehicle owners. Before you trade your transportation, let K&M Automotive give your vehicle a new lease on life with a remanufactured product from Jasper Engines and Transmissions. A Jasper remanufactured engine, transmission, or differential will extend your vehicle's life, giving you the extra cash to do the things you really enjoy. And Jasper offers a 3-year, 100,000-mile nationwide parts and labor warranty. K&M Automotive, 636-2875. That's K&M Automotive, Siegen near Perkins.
Own a European car? Dex European has lowered their basic maintenance cost on most European models, starting at $99, and this promo's here to stay. Exceptional care at a more affordable price. Plus, no long waits. Book today, get service tomorrow. Visit VexEuropean.com.
Hi, this is Jake and James of Trash Rangers of Louisiana. Have a question, a problem, call us. We answer the phone. 225-363-9053.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com. ALS is a progressive and neurodegenerative disease, and we need your help to find a cure. The mission of the ALS Association, Louisiana, Mississippi chapter, is to discover treatments and a cure for ALS, and to serve, advocate for, and empower people affected by ALS to live their lives to the fullest. Whether you are newly diagnosed, a military veteran, a caregiver, or someone looking to learn more about how to navigate living with ALS, they can help. Visit ALS.org to learn more. That's ALS.org.
Tigers, Saints, Southeastern Conference, all in one place. LouisianaSports.net. No paywalls, no article limits. It's just the coverage the Louisiana sports fans want. Bookmark it today. LouisianaSports.net. Click through the static and listen to 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge in high definition. Simply tune to 98.1 and select HD2. It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Chris, let's go out live to Del Mar, California. PB Chris with us right now, setting the scene for us. Who was at the sales earlier? Chris, how's it like, man?
Pretty good. Pretty good life out here. Beautiful sunny days. A little chilly if you're inside the track because you're not getting the sun, but when you're in the sun, it's a perfect 70, 72, 73, a little warm breeze. Can't beat it. Can't beat it. How you guys doing?
Every time up, when Max were doing a podcast out there, he says, "Do not tell me it's chilly out there when it's about 100 and 100 the temperature and humidity down here."
It was cloudy today.
The marine layer. It's called a marine layer. What's that?
I had to buy a Breeders' Cup vest yesterday. It wasn't chill in the air when you were on the other side of the seat.
Hey,
but, I'm not complaining.
You're at some Del Mar sales, because I know when I go up to Saratoga right before their contest in August, they have their Tipton flags of the Tipton sales. I mean, what's the festivities going on? Tell me.
So Wednesday night was interesting. It was the first time Del Mar put one of these on. They had a championship sale where they offered up percentages of 12 horses that have already won something pretty big. They actually gave away. They sold 5% of Cogburn at a crazy evaluation, like almost $40 million. They had a 2.5% of Flightline offered for sale, and it sold for $2.5 million. So that's $100 million valuation for Flightline. I had a friend of mine who had a percentage of the horse Killwin. They put up 25%, but it didn't meet the reserve. It got to $575,000, which was the $2.3 million valuation, but they didn't sell it because it was like the 2.5 was the reserve. So some crazy money. I got invited because I knew a few people involved in the sale. We actually ran into one of your LSU boys, Alex Bregman, who I actually had the pleasure of hanging out with a couple years ago in Vegas. He remembered, and he was talking his horses. He has 2 in today. He has Governor Sam in the 6th race, and he has Totally Justifiable in the 8th race. So it was cool to talk to him. He was just as excited talking horses as he was baseball. So, just a cool experience, and we had a blast. And we went to the track yesterday too. And I will say one thing about the track. Del Mar is usually a speed favoring track on the dirt and the turf. Yesterday it played very fair, which we all acknowledge, and it's great for a horse bettor because you don't want to have the greatest horses in the world running into a certain bias, either speed or closing. it played very fair yesterday, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, we talked about that with Colucci yesterday, and I mentioned that too because the speed bias was unbelievable. The finish line was at the Modelo tent. You know, as soon as they hit the turn there, I mean, I spent enough
Yeah,
time.
if you're at the top of the stretch with the lead, you're going to win at Del Mar. But that wasn't how it was yesterday, which was good.
No, I was going to finish your sentence because, and then one of the TVG or the FanDuel Racing people. She said, I think it was Caitlin, said, that doesn't mean it's going to play like this with the higher level horses that are going to be this weekend. But Chris, come on, we sat there the whole meet. I mean, no, this is different. This is different with these horses. I don't know why you wouldn't take that into consideration because, man, it was all speed handicapping back in the summer meet. Before we get to it, real quickly, you got a couple of picks. Anything you like that sticks out to you in the card today or tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, the most likely winner today is in race 8. That's Lake Victoria. It's Aiden O'Brien, 2-year-old filly. He said it's the best 2-year-old filly he's ever trained. So, you're not going to get a great price, but if you play in pick 5s, pick 3s, pick 4, you might want to single that horse. That's the one horse in the 8th race.
Okay.
I'm partial to the Chancer McPatrick in the juvenile, and that's the 9th race. He's a closer. He's getting an extra half a furlong here. He's going to have to chase down East Avenue, who's probably going to be the favorite. He's in the 1 hole, so Chancer McPatrick's got a little better draw. He's going to be outside. Should be able to sit back and blast home. Hopefully, taking care of that speed bias. Hopefully, the speed bias isn't there. So that's Chancer McPatrick, the 10 horse in the 9th race. And if you're going to be singling and sequential bets, I would look to single Lake Victoria, the 1 and the 8.
All right, let's get to it. Auburn, this line is moving from 6.5 to 7.5. I mean, are the odds makers is just stubborn with Vanderbilt, or it's just but that's a significant line movement for an offensively challenged team like Auburn from 6.5 to 7.5.
That's exactly my point. They're only averaging 27.6 points a game. Auburn, that includes the 73-point game against Alabama A&M. That's one of your pay-for-play games. And they scored 45 against a horrendous New Mexico team. So they're only averaging 27.6 per game. But if you take those 2 games out, they're only averaging 17 points a game, 17.8 in SEC play. So unless you're holding Vandy to 10 points, how are you going to cover this 7.5? I don't get it. I know this Pavia has, the injury concerns, but everything I've seen from the coach says he's going to play. So he says he wants to play. He's going to play. We try to put restrictions on him. He doesn't listen. So he's just a tough guy. He's going to play. Auburn 4-5 against the spread. Vandy, like you mentioned, maybe they are stubborn with these lines, but they're 6-2 against the spread. I can't see any other side but taking Vandy in the 7.5.
All right, we keep waiting for this flat spot for the Indiana Hoosiers. They were awesome against in their toughest game. 5-1. Nebraska comes in, they blast them by 50, and then all the pomp and circumstance, and they perform. Sometimes that all of that attention with game day coming to campus for teams and programs that aren't used to it, man, it's a distraction. Not the case for Indiana. Signetti is the real deal, but at some point, are they going to hit a flat spot, an exhale spot? Maybe here at East Lansing, Indiana 7.5.
I watched both of these games very closely last week because I had plays on Indiana and I had plays on Michigan State. So I think these games are both very deceiving. Indiana was outgained by Washington. Granted, they did have the backup quarterback in, and I know Rourke is back. But there was a defensive pick 6, 67-yard pick 6. There were 2 interceptions by Washington. They had 5 penalties, 3 sacks. And the game was extremely even. The score is a little bit misleading, 31-17. So I think that game was a lot closer. And then the Michigan State game, I'm not sure what they were doing at the end of the half, trying to get extra yardage in their own territory. Childs gets strip sacked, which is the biggest problem with Childs. He's a good player. He has the ability to be great, but he doesn't protect the ball. So if he can somehow protect the ball a little bit better, I feel like Michigan State outplayed Michigan and should have won the game even though they lost. And the vice versa with the same thing with Washington pretty much was even against Indiana. Now you have Indiana going on the road. Spotty's 3-1 at home, only lost to Ohio State. And Indiana has Michigan and Ohio State on deck. So this is definitely the sandwich spot of the year off the big game day victory. And, maybe Curtis Rourke's coming back a little too soon. I'm not so sure if he's 100% healthy. I'm going to grab the 8 points of Michigan State.
7.5 right now at DraftKings,
Okay,
but it
7.5
was 8 most of the week. Let's move on. Speaking of Nebraska, and yes, Michigan State outgained Michigan in that game last week as well. Love the fight at the end of the game, but anyway, UCLA going to Nebraska, and Nebraska. Oh man, Matt Rule he said it. We don't want moral victories here, but I'm very proud of the way my team competed today. Nebraska now 7 at home against UCLA.
Yeah, competed. They had the game. They could have won the game. They had the lead against Ohio State. The almost. It's the almost. And now what are you going to do? You're going to go back home, and it's UCLA, a team that was, pretty much in the doldrums all year. They were only averaging five yards per play, but in the last 3 games, they picked up to 5.4 yards a play. And last week, 2 weeks ago versus Rutgers, 6.6 yards a play. Ethan Garbers has finally maybe got it clicking. He was 32 for 38, 4 touchdowns versus Rutgers. And this team's coming off a bye, and the ultimate, depression spot for Nebraska after almost beating Ohio State. I just feel like this is a horrible flat spot for Nebraska. I think UCLA is still trying hard. They got the offense turned around a little bit. I'm going to grab the points here. I think Nebraska is just awful as a favorite, too, as well. So any points I can get with UCLA, I think this is a good spot. I think they might even pull off the victory.
All right, then finally, your last 2 picks, a little combo pick here. Mississippi State right in the middle of this conference schedule. Here comes little sleepy Manhattan, and the total you're looking at right now. Mississippi State's 18 at home against Manhattan. Total is 60.
No, they're playing UMass.
UMass, I'm sorry. Jeez.
No, it's okay. That's okay. Yeah, so, you got a 1-7 Mississippi State team favored by 18 against UMass. But, Bulldogs have had a rough schedule. They had a tough loss against A&M. They had the flat spot against Arkansas, and they got smoked. It was a horrible game, 5 turnovers, 3 fumbles, 2 interceptions by Michael Van Buren. But this Van Buren kid has got a lot of talent. He was an Oregon commit. He played well against tough competition, Texas, Georgia, and A&M. Now he gets to feast on a 2-6 UMass team. And before you say, hey, 2 wins over 1 win, their wins were over Central Connecticut and Wagner. Okay, so those are just nothing. 2 weeks ago, UMass got smoked by Missouri. And Missouri's offense has been terrible of late. I think Mississippi State's offense is a little better. Missouri got 45 points against them. So I think this is a great spot to let Van Buren cook a little bit. He's going to put up a lot of points. And on the flip side, why I'm taking the over as well is that Mississippi State's defense is 128 out of 134. They're giving up 40 points a game, granted against a tough SEC schedule. But I think UMass can get 20 points. They got 23 versus Toledo, 20 versus Miami of Ohio, and 20 versus Northern Illinois. So I'm going Mississippi State and the over. Yes, it's a little chalky, but I think it's just a good spot for Mississippi State's offense to let it rip a little bit.
All right, we got to do this, okay? We look, my boy Chris. He's been to Super Bowls. He's been to NBA Finals, Final Fours, Del Mar, Saratoga. He's knee deep. He's handicapping every day. Chris, when we have one of these it's called a rent-a-win. he never heard the term rent-a-win. Yeah. He's more in the pro area than the college area. Oh no, we know what rent-a-wins are down here, man. Team comes in, gets their check, and takes a butt whipping and gets the hell out. So
how about UMass's schedule though? They scheduled at home against Missouri, on the road at Mississippi State, and in 2 weeks they're going between the hedges in Georgia. Unbelievable. UMass. Who knew?
Marcus Camby's coming back to play tight end.
Yeah, they're picking up big checks in Starkville and Athens. I still can't figure out how they got Missouri to go up there.
Yes, indeed. Hey,
that's unbelievable.
Hey, man, look, good luck to you this weekend. I got a great Alex Breckman story for you another time as well. When I was at Caesars.
Hey, I'll give you one more. I'm going with Forever Young in the Classic. The dead horse, the one that should have won the Derby. He's gonna win the Classic.
All right, Forever Young. You going both days?
Oh yeah, I'll be here.
Good game, man. Have fun, man. Missing it, brother.
All right, thanks.
All right. Have one for
Charlie,
me.
Jimmy, have a great weekend.
Yes, indeed. Chris Massaro, live for PB and Del Mar, huh, Charlie? Not a bad gig, huh?
No, it's a wonderful place.
How long have I had at least 4 TVs at the House and Little Media Center? A little over 30 years.
Something like that.
His embarrasses me.
You've been. I'll show you
His
some
embarrasses
pictures.
me.
I'll show you some pictures of guys you've inspired with your home media setup.
Don't forget our friends over at Legacy Title, Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title for all of you real estate closings, 296-0060. Full service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional services we get when we call 296-0060. Our great team at Legacy Title, Ashley Donald, Mariana Haynes, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds and Legacy Title, 296-0060. The 80% Club and more. We come back with Troy Macker.
And live at lunch here from Ruffino's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
When it comes to celebrating life, there's no better place than Ruffino's. With locations in Baton Rouge and Lafayette, Ruffino's is a steak, seafood, and Italian-inspired restaurant that focuses on the celebration of life, regardless of the occasion. Whether it's the food they serve or the service they provide, their goal is to ensure a remarkable experience for their guests that is always remembered. To view our menu, visit ruffinosrestaurant.com. Ruffino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge is your new home for the New Orleans Pelicans.
Oh, and blocked from behind by Williamson. Taken by Murphy. Throws it up the floor to Jose. Stop, pop, right corner three. What a sequence that was.
Visit 1045ESPN.com for a complete list of games you'll hear on 104.5 FM, 104.9 FM, and 98.1 HD2.
Hey, dunks it! Oh, my heavens!
The New Orleans Pelicans are on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. While leaning over the fence, your neighbor said you could save money bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. Your neighbor leaned over a little too much and broke your fence. Dumb news. Somehow fence wood is more expensive than wood. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and to plant really tall shrubs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Get your holidays started with the perfect tree in your perfect style from the Home Depot. Whether you want something that you can assemble in a few clicks, steal the show with over 2,000 color-changing bulbs, or a tree with lights that can be controlled by remote or foot pedal. The Home Depot has it all in our huge assortment of premium trees. Plus, get free delivery on over 2 million items this holiday from the Home Depot. Subject to availability, see homedepot.com/delivery for details.
The Grove Recovery Center asks you to call to let their family help yours. And know this, each of the members of the Grove's admission team are not only in recovery, they've also made that same phone call. So please know that when you reach out to them, there will be no judgment or ridicule, rather sympathy and understanding. After less than 10 minutes, a program of recovery destined for you begins. That phone call is the beginning of a new life. Let someone that's changed theirs help you change yours with the Grove Recovery Center, 310-2600.
Harness the Boudreaux boost when storms loom. Boudreaux's Electrical powers your life with top-tier Generac home standby generators. Dial Boudreaux's Electrical for energy that endures, because with us, you're never powerless. Visit boudreauxelectrical.com.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. I want to let you know that we have a local office in Baton Rouge that is able to handle your case with care and attention. After being in an accident, the last thing you want to do is travel. Our local hometown attorneys are here to ensure you receive the highest quality legal service and help get you the compensation you deserve. Reach out to our team of local attorneys to handle your case. Call us at 225-888-8888.
Get going. Hey, get it done. Get going.
Results may vary. Praise the price of each case. Baton Rouge, LA 22-13-644.
When your transformer is down, it's not just an inconvenience. It's a cost to your business. At Bayou Transformers, we understand the urgency and we are ready to assist. Whether it's maintenance, reconditioning, or even a full replacement, we'll get you back to full power swiftly and efficiently. With a 5-year warranty on all our rebuilt transformers and a rapid turnaround time, we are your solution for all your transformer needs. Visit BayouTransformers.com. That's BayouTransformers.com.
Hi, this is Jake and James of Trash Rangers of Louisiana. If you switch your residential or commercial trash pickup to us, we promise to never sell your trash to the paparazzi. Seriously.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
Jimmy, Charlie, and Troy. Three best buddies sitting around talking sports bets. Let's welcome in Troy Macker from Bet Rivers.
All right, Troy, let's get right to it. College football, big slate this weekend, 80% club. What we looking at this week?
Yeah, so, we got about 11 teams backed by at least 80% of the money and 12 teams backed by at least 80% of the tickets. So I'll look at the 7 teams backed by both 80% of the money and the tickets.
Okay.
So that gives you a kind of consensus there. There's a unique one that's flip side on both of that, and that's Auburn minus 7.5 is currently backed by 87% of the money, but Vandy plus 7.5 is backed by 84% of the tickets. We've taken several big bets on Auburn, even though a lot of the tickets, the public backing Vandy, you'd expect it. People have been high on Vandy this year. But if we're talking teams backed by 80% on both, we'll start, at the top by money is Mississippi State against UMass. UMass is dreadful. Mississippi State minus 17.5, 99% of the money, 81% of the tickets. Central Florida minus 6 against Arizona. People have been on Central Florida the last couple of weeks.
I mean,
96% of the money, 83% of the tickets.
Charlie, Central Florida stove, huh? I mean, I've been on them. I'm off of it.
What are you backing? They haven't won a game since the beginning of the middle of September.
And the TCU win was
by a point.
No, but they got a huge call. They kept the drive going.
Yeah.
I mean, a bad call. I'm sorry, Troy. The Central Florida. Continue. I'm sorry.
Well, I think they're not backing Central Florida as much as they're fading Arizona. I believe Arizona is one of the worst teams against the spread this year. They've covered maybe one. They're like 1-7-1 or something. So
Okay.
I think this is as much of a fade as it is a back.
Max, check on that. Go ahead.
Next up, South Alabama minus 6 against Georgia Southern. 93% of the money, 97% of the tickets. And then Indiana, the darling of the country, the last 3 weeks, one of our most wagered on teams and one of the strongest public plays of the last 3 weeks. Indiana minus 7, 90% of the money, 89% of the tickets at Michigan State. Indiana to cover is the 5th most wagered on play and the most popular play of the weekend thus far. So everyone will be on Indiana. They've been, one of the best stories of college football, and they're just really fun to watch. We've talked about it in the past. They're explosive, whether or not they have their starter in or not.
I'll make a little play here, Charlie. They're not going to throw the ball down before crossing the goal line. Not this team.
No, good guess.
They're coached a little bit. They're unbelievable. They're beautiful to watch. I mean, it's basically a coaching clinic on how to wrap when you hit, how to rally to the ball, how to sustain a block and you're going to block and just everything they do, they get the most out of it. It's the little things, I said. Ask Garrett Cole about the little things, Troy. I digress. We continue to Max.
Indiana 7-1 against the spread. Arizona 1-7 against the spread.
No, Indiana's 8-0 against spread. They're 8-0 straight up, 8-0 against spread. Even that Rena win against that directional team. No, they're undefeated.
FIU, they were 26-point favorite. They won by 24. So maybe it depends.
It might have been a line adjustment there. Okay. Because we've been talking about them. They've been undefeated for quite some time, way past that FIU. All right, after Indiana, who's the other three?
We have Oregon minus 14 at Michigan, 87% of the money, 85% of the tickets. Kansas State minus 12 at Houston. I've been fading Houston all year, and it hasn't done me a lot of favors, especially not last week. I believe you were on Houston to cover, which was a smart play going against the public. But Kansas State minus 12.5, 87% of the money, 80% of the tickets. And then Colorado State minus 2 at Nevada, 81% of the money and 83% of the tickets. I think that is more a fade on Nevada than a play on Kansas State.
Yeah, that's the old Nevada coach, Norvell. Going against them right there as well. All right, what are we looking at? About 3 to 5 of the most public plays with the spread in the NFL this weekend.
Yeah, well, only one team is above 80% of the tickets on the spread line, and that's Washington. The Commanders at the Giants. Right now it's minus 4. I think it opened 3.5. 81% of the tickets is on the Commanders to cover at the Giants. Then we have the Philadelphia Eagles minus 7.5 at home against Jacksonville, 79% of the tickets. The Lions minus 2.5 at Green Bay, 76% of the tickets. That game early, the look-ahead line was Green Bay minus 1, but it has shifted. Then after Sunday's games, it was Detroit minus 4, and that has come down to Detroit minus 2.5. I do think, the health of Jordan Love will play into that as we see tickets and money come in over the next 24 hours. New Orleans -7 at Carolina is 69% of the money, and New England +3.5, 69% of the money at Tennessee. But those last two dropping down into the 60%. So not a ton of conviction, but we're getting into a lot of divisional play. Especially with that Washington New York game, it's really tough to pick. Same with the New Orleans Carolina. Even though Carolina's going back to Bryce Young, I would have expected that spread number to be a bit stronger, just because people are very out on Bryce Young. But and New England, people seem to be either fading Tennessee or riding healthy Drake May, who's looked good. New England is the only dog backed by at least 68% of the tickets.
Troy, I introduce you to the only team that can halt the auto fade on Carolina, the New Orleans Saints.
No, they're betting them though. And to Troy's point, they bet more against the bad teams than they are betting the good teams.
So the Saints have got them in the 60% range. Troy, what is the average fade on Carolina? Probably in the 90s, right? 80s or 90s?
Yeah.
It cools a little bit.
Yes. The fade percentage has cooled down. Yes, no doubt.
Yeah, we're talking money line. It's basically 90% of the money line money is on the Saints, and the Carolina Panthers have been, I think it's like 15% or less of the money in 6 or 7 games thus far. If you look at the 90%, teams that have been backed by 90% of money line money, the Panthers are littered in the list.
Houston and Willie Fritz took over a really rough situation coming over from Tulane, and we think the world of him. We think he's, not just personally, we don't even know him personally, but just how good of a coach he is. And man, he changed quarterbacks. He's figuring out they're becoming more competitive. Now they got ambushed in Lawrence, Kansas. Kansas got them pretty good. Jumped on them 21-0 right out the chute, but they won last week, and they're kind of, he beat him now because he is going to get a better roster. He is going to get. Well, how old is he now, Charlie? 60?
Fritz is like early 6, like 60, 61, something like that.
Yeah. So, Troy, anything you like before we let you go?
Yeah, well, I mentioned them thus far, so I'm playing with the public, but I really like Indiana -7.5 at Michigan State. I really like Oregon -14 at Michigan. I've been fading Michigan all year. They bit me in the butt twice, but more often than not, I've been really good there. So, those are the two I'm looking at. And then next week, next Saturday, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but there's a massive UFC fight with John Jones making his return, and there's a ton of bets to make there in the finish and the round department. So I'm very excited for that. And also college basketball begins next week. So this is the last weekend before I really get into the thick of things that mean a lot to me. Plus, my football team, the Commanders, doing pretty well. So hopefully we'll have another good weekend, and looking forward to getting at it in the deep fall.
Yeah, Kenny White telling us yesterday his McNeese State in his top 40. They're going to Tuscaloosa 2 days after LSU plays Alabama in football over here in Tiger Stadium. Follow Troy on Twitter all year long. Very good stuff that he puts out there, where the public action is and things like this. At Troy Macher, Machir. Troy, have a great weekend, man. We appreciate it. Good stuff.
You do the same. Thanks, guys.
Willie Fritz, 64 years old, a year older than Kirk Signetti in Indiana.
So much for them guys you can't hire in the 60s, huh? They
look like two pretty good hires to me.
Because you brought this up like Leipold and Willie Fritz. And I mean, I think it's kind of the Saban deal. I mean, Saban's for his age, he's got way more in the tank. He's almost like he's 10 years younger. And I understand you want a young guy because it requires energy, but if you got a guy that's, that age, and he's got I mean, if you go on, Leipold is doing it Buffalo and Kansas. He doesn't have energy. And I know it's a rough year for him. He's got some energy.
He's got a lot of it. I think that old habits die hard. You wanted to hire a coach. Man, we want this guy here for 20 years. Nobody stays 20 years anymore. No. If you get him for 6 or 7, you're doing good.
Charlie, sounds like you just Googled Kirk Signetti.
There you go. Google me, baby. Total Maintenance, one of Louisiana's oldest and largest AC and heating companies. Since 1980, my boy Lucas Ragusa doing a great job over there. AC heating, generator installations, maintenance, service today, every day. Means same-day service. Means you'll never sleep hot. Call today and get service today. So factory authorized dealers for Carrier, American Standard, Daikin, and Rheem products. And our membership programs cover all services with discounts and extended warranties. We'll let you know when it's time for your unit to be serviced. And we know that's not exactly a priority on your busy schedule. Mention my name, Jimmy Ott, and get half off diagnostics, including after hours, holidays, or weekends, or also one-time heater or AC visit. Mention my name, Jimmy Ott, $79 instead of $179. Total maintenance. We are Total Maintenance. 480-1000, 480-1000.
Signetti 4 months older than Brian Kelly. Just if you're keeping track over there. Live at lunch from Ruffino's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Please consider making a donation locally through St. Vincent de Paul that truly helps people in need. If you have a boat, car, motorcycle, RV, clothing, housewares, or furniture you no longer use, please consider donating it to St. Vincent de Paul. This donation could get you a tax deduction. Visit svdpbr.org. Final weekend of great entertainment at Greater Baton Rouge State Fair. Hot dog eating contest, Noah's Way Petting Zoo, Dynamo Dogs, and Sunday all-day Latin music. 40 thrilling rides. GBRSF.com. And Severe Magic.
Total Maintenance for AC and heating, generators, electricity, and plumbing. One of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC and heating companies since 1980. Service today, every day. Nobody likes to go to sleep hot. With a full staff in both Baton Rouge and New Orleans, Total Maintenance is an authorized dealer for Carrier, American Standard, Daikin, and Rheem AC units, and Generac and Cummings generators. In Baton Rouge, call 480-1000. In New Orleans, 841-3300. Total Maintenance, your authorized AC dealer.
Finding the right personnel for your organization can be a challenge. At Glow Resources, we take that job seriously, but not ourselves. We place the best people into the right job. Glow Resources, complete employee solutions. GlowResources.com.
Now, everybody's been to Louis Cafe by campus. Heck, it's been around since over 80 years now. We're still doing delicious omelets like the Mitchell, cheesy grits, Big Cheesy Lou, and those Louis Original Cajun hash browns. We now offer a pickup window. Just call in your order at 346-8221. Give us 15 or 20 minutes. We'll have it ready for you. Our hours are now 6:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., 7 days a week. So next time you visit campus, make it a point to stop by and visit an old friend. Louis Cafe, just outside the north gates of LSU.
Well, why don't you just come right out and say it?
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the Jim's Firearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Say what? Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the Jim's Firearms.net hotline. Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge mobile app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the microphone icon to send us your thoughts in an audio message. Your message could be played on air. Find our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. For direct links, visit 1045ESPN.com.
Get Moss Max and less text during happy hour at Modesto. Join us Tuesday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. for $10 20-ounce margaritas and Dip Trio with $5 drink specials and $6 seasonal cocktails. Eat Modesto, 3930 Burbank Drive.
Pizza that's true to its hand-tossed wood-fried tradition. Roca Pizzeria is heating up its new half-off happy hour, Monday through Fridays, 3 to 6 p.m. Come enjoy 50% off margarita, pepperoni, 4 cheese, craft cocktails, wine by the glass, and draft beer. Roca Pizzeria, 3897 Government.
Hi, this is Jake and James of Trash Rangers of Louisiana. Have a question, a problem? Call us. We answer the phone. 225-363-9053.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
Louisiana, you've got a new home for coverage of LSU, the New Orleans Saints, and the Southeastern Conference. LouisianaSports.net. LouisianaSports.net. Feature stories, opinion columns, recruiting updates, in-game reports, and it's all free. No paywalls, no annoying pop-up ads, no recurring subscriptions, just the content you crave. From the folks that bring you 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, it's LouisianaSports.net.
There's more than one way to listen to ESPN Baton Rouge on the radio at 104.5 and 104.9 and 98.1 HD2. Online at 1045ESPN.com and with the free ESPN Baton Rouge mobile app powered by Bayou Ford.
Click through the static and listen to 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge in high definition. Simply tune to 98.1 and select HD2. It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You're listening to Sports Bettor's Paradise on the Bet Rivers Network.
First of all, Clemson, obviously, they began the year with a big thud, lost to Georgia, 34-3 there in the neutral site game in Atlanta. But since then, Clemson, 6 straight victories. They've won those games by an average of 27.3 points per game. All their victories by double digits. In fact, their closest game since losing to Georgia, a 16-point victory at Florida State the first Saturday in October. Clemson, the offense has been very good behind Klubnik. They've scored 40 or more points in 5 of their last 6 games, ranking the top 5 nationally in both scoring offense and total offense. They average 42 points a game, a little over 490 yards per game. So they are very prolific offensively after they have taken a downturn in offense the past couple of seasons, but they seem to have regained their offensive magic, so to speak. And much is due to the play of former 5-star recruit Cade Klubnik, as we mentioned. He was a guy who in his debut season last year as a starter, kind of up and down, probably at least mildly disappointing for most Clemson fans. But he's really prospered in his second season as Clemson's starting quarterback. He's thrown for 1,836 yards, average of 8.4 yards per attempt, 20 touchdowns against just 3 interceptions. So a very good ratio there. You talked about Louisville, and it's been mostly, they're 5-3, but it's been mostly uninspiring. You mentioned the victory over Georgia Tech, which could have gone the other way. But I think it's fair to say they've been a mild disappointment, and they failed to cover now 5 straight games. So they have 5 straight non-covers. They're 0-3 against the spread on the road this season, and that includes a 7-point loss at Notre Dame, a game that closed at 6.5. Another thing I really like in this game that I think comes into our handicapping puzzle this time of the year, Louisville playing for the 7th straight week, Clemson off a bye. So Louisville playing for the 7th straight week as those bumps and bruises start to accumulate. They're going to be down 2 receivers. Their quarterback, Tyler Shuff, can be a little bit shaky in the turnover department. Clemson gets a bye, so they're a little bit refreshed. I think Clemson wins this game by 11 or more. I like Clemson over Louisville Saturday in Death Valley.
All right, Paul Stone giving you Clemson against Louisville. Update on Drew Aller, the starting quarterback for Penn State, expected to get the start tomorrow against Ohio State.
People ask me all the time, where's a good place to go eat? My lock that never misses, Louisiana Lanyap. I've never had anybody disappointed. The snapper and papillote and the cocodrie are staples. Some of my favorites start off with the marinated crab claws or the oysters lanyap. For an entree, seafood stuffed bell peppers. Got a little kick to them now, so watch out. And blueberry bread pudding for dessert. Nobody has collected more 225 Best of Awards than Louisiana Lanyap. 9990 Perkins Road near Bluebonnet, where you always get a little something extra.
Bow and waterfowl season is open, and Southern Outfitters is your one-stop shop. Fully stocked with decoys, full-service bow repair, and sales. Tree stands, hang-ons, and hunting apparel for the entire family. Visit Southern Outfitters in Zachary and at SouthernOutfittersLA.com.
Honesty, integrity, attention to detail, and dedication. Lewis Mechanical Contractors has been providing top quality plumbing services to Baton Rouge since 1960. Your peace of mind was their business then and still is now. Whatever you need, repair, installation, replacement, they are the area's trusted source for all plumbing jobs, big and small. Call 927-6520. That's 927-6520.
Lewis Mechanical, keeping plumbing humming.
Hi, this is Gordy Rush, inviting you to elevate brand visibility and ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Introducing Guarantee Media Digital. Secure your free digital audit now at guaranteemedia.com.
The new location of Los Reyes Mexican Grill. Wesley, across from Mike Anderson's. Man, the place looks great. Lots of indoor and outdoor seating options with plenty of big TVs to watch all your favorite games. All of the traditional Mexican cuisine with a great happy hour, 2:30 to 6:30, 7 days a week. Plus, $5 margaritas all day, all night on Wednesdays. Great spot to bring the baseball team in between games, just 5 minutes north of Traction and 5 minutes south of LSU. Los Reyes Mexican Grill, 1072 West Lee, near Nicholson.
Bayou Ford has the inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today. Or let Bayou Ford help you customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and with Bayou to You free delivery. Visit BayouFord.com to shop or schedule a same-day appointment with our service department just off I-10 on Belterre and LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. If you want to channel your inner Clark Griswold and have the finest looking house on the block this Christmas season, you need Got Lit light installers. This process couldn't be easier. You tell them what you want, they bring their own lights, they install them. If anything happens during the season, they'll fix it. When the season's over, they come take down the lights, haul them away, and store them. All you have to do is enjoy. To get your quote, visit GotLitLights.com. That's GotLitLights.com.
Electric Man of Baton Rouge is here to help with 24/7 residential and commercial electrical services. With years of experience, Electric Man aims to deliver fast and dedicated electrical services without compromising safety, quality, and integrity. Licensed and insured professionals to do the job for you worry-free. Electric Man offers guaranteed appointment times and free estimates, offering veteran and senior discounts also. Find Electric Man at electricmanbatonrouge.com to schedule your guaranteed appointment time. electricmanbatonrouge.com, 225-800-7065.
The Queen Baton Rouge is your football headquarters this fall. Catch all the games on over 50 screens at either 1770 Kitchen and Cocktails or the DraftKings Sports Bar. We got $3 drafts and many more drink and food specials. Visit thequeenbr.com for more details. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-770-STOP.
Why do billion-dollar insurance companies regularly delay and deny valid claims? Because that's how they got to be billion-dollar insurance companies. If you've been injured, I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7969.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21 12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Great specials all weekend long. Scallops and eggplant Mary for the appetizer features this weekend. Grilled sea bass and dry-aged New York strip Diane, our entree features. Our dessert feature, a little spooky dirt custard, mocha custard with the Oreo crumbles, pistachio biscotti. Let's go out to Las Vegas. Our buddy Bruce Marshall. I presume you're in Las Vegas right now. World traveler. Where are you? Are you in Vegas right now?
Yes, I'm actually in Las Vegas, believe it or not.
There you go. There you go. Brucey, let's get to the big one. In Penn State and Ohio State, we just heard word that Drew Aller will start. The backup did a really nice job. He started the second half. Aller exited the field about a minute to go in the second half before the team did. He's got a left knee, might be a sprained MCL. I think both are expected to play in this game. Somebody's got to do something, huh? Well, you know, everybody makes a lot out of Franklin in his, the hump games. He can't just beat the big boys, Michigan and Penn State in the Big Ten. And then Ryan Day, man, they are. You think, man, he's under some heat. These people in Columbus are not happy with him. But in the end, this game's probably going to mean seeding only. Your thoughts on the big one? It's down to 3 now at our local book here at the DraftKings Sportsbook at the Queen Casino. Who do you got?
Yeah, quick reminder, college hoops starts on Monday, by the way. So just so we get that out of the way. So that's coming up too. Aller plays, although the backup for Bula did not do bad last week. And that was a game looked like Penn State was in some trouble. And everything you say is true. They're a little impatient at Ohio State, a little spoiled. Yep. And Penn State, James Franklin could use a win over one of these big boys in the Big Ten. He hasn't beaten Ohio State since 2016. Here's my thought. I really don't think that Chip Kelly is the big bonus running the Ohio State offense that Ryan Day thinks he is. They go back a long way, so he's very partial to Kelly, back roots at New Hampshire, actually. But Kelly's offenses have not been – there was a time when he was a very avant-garde play caller, and back in his days at Oregon, and he was doing a lot of stuff with read options and things like that, and tempo that a lot of teams have since adapted. And his stuff. I mean, I watched him at UCLA 6 years. They're okay, and these teams generally run, but they're not that. It wasn't that special. And his best offenses have had quarterbacks who could move. Will Howard isn't exactly that guy. I mean, he's good. I'm still not sure he's that much of an upgrade over McCord from last year. Well, the McCord before the Pittsburgh game for Syracuse. But I'm just not sure Ohio State's quite at that level it was in recent years, or pre-2023. So I'm going back when they had Fields there, when they had Stroud. I just don't know they have that same cutting edge. And this actually might be a spot where Penn State can do it. Aller in there. Listen, we talked about Andy Kotelnicki coming in from Kansas and reviving this offense. They are a lot more aggressive and progressive than they were last year and the year before. I mean, Aller's been throwing the ball downfield. The backup even came in and looked pretty good last week. By me, I think they're a wee bit too cutesy, because I saw them in person against SC a few weeks ago, and there's it's just a little bit too much finesse. But I think they can run the ball if they want, and I don't think Ohio State is quite the same. We saw they were life and death with Nebraska last week. I think James Franklin gets them here, and so I'm going to go 24-20 Penn State, and man, they will tear up Happy Valley if that happens tomorrow.
All right, another interesting handicap. It's not one of the biggest games out there, but by any means. But I mean, tons of tickets coming in on Vanderbilt. Again, Vanderbilt covers easily. Although there was a pick six that was erased off the board that would have put Texas up with just a minute and a half to go, put them up 17. That was called back. One of 10 penalties on the day for Texas, but Pavia got them down and made the final score 3, and they cover easily the final score. Tons of tickets on them, but a lot of big tickets on Auburn here. We've seen this line jump from 6.5 to 7.5. Bruce, what you think?
I am actually with that jump, and I'll qualify this by saying this is just from having done this for over 40 years professionally, and having seen teams do what Vanderbilt does, really punch above their weight. Outstanding 5-0 as an underdog thus far, and I mean Pavia, we've talked about it on the show before. If you look at what has happened to this point, there is a great case to be made for Vanderbilt. But I am telling you right now, my gut feeling is that this can't continue for Vanderbilt, and that these teams run out of gas at some point. And I think this is where it starts for Vanderbilt. I would not be surprised if they don't win another game the rest of the way. And this is just from past experience doing this. Keep in mind, Hugh Freeze and his staff and a lot of these Auburn players have been hearing for the last year about that New Mexico State game last year. Clark Lee certainly saw that. That's why he went down to Las Cruces and pulled Tim back out of there, the offensive coordinator. Then he got Jerry Kill out of retirement because he retired after last year. And then he got Diego Pavia, the quarterback. So they're all now on Vanderbilt. This is as close as Auburn is going to get to having some revenge for that New Mexico State game last year. And don't think those guys don't know about it, because they have heard about it nonstop for almost 12 months. Also, Auburn ain't playing that bad. The Georgia effort was good. They were fighting well into the second half, close to Georgia. Could have easily won that Missouri game 2 weeks ago. They led most of the way, and they came back on Kentucky last week. Jarquez Hunter ran great, almost 300 yards, my God. But look at Peyton Thorne the last 3 games. He's only thrown 1 pick. He's completing about 65% of his passes. They probably should have beat Oklahoma before that, but that was interesting. They, playing from ahead sometimes, Auburn has had trouble. They played from behind last week and won. They were down 10-0 and took over. I think they're coming on right now. I think this is a chance for Hugh Freeze and the staff to kind of erase that New Mexico State. They won't be able to totally erase it, but this is as close as they can come. And I am laying it with Auburn tomorrow. I think they're actually going to win, and maybe win decisively.
Pavia beat Freeze last year and Jordan Hare as the New Mexico State quarterback, but 2 years ago he beat Freeze again in a regular season game and drilled him pretty good when Freeze was at Liberty. All right. Give us a couple others that the more high profile games that you look before we get into some of the smaller conferences.
Yeah, I'm gonna. It's going the ACC for a couple of these. I'm not sure it's high profile anymore with Florida State, but there's a difference between teams that are finding ways to get beat, like say in the NFL, the Jets before last night, and they finally won, just keeping on making mistakes and just being flat out bad. I think Florida State is flat out bad this year, and you talk to people down there, none of the portal, and they've lived in the portal a lot the last few years. They had a lot of reloading to do after last season, but the line play has not been good, and the quarterback play undeniably bad. Well, DJU in there, he was a big disappointment, and Brock Glenn, and then the freshman. They are mechanical as can be. They can't really do anything. This team is bad. They are a legitimate 1-7 right now. North Carolina is one of those teams. They found ways to lose several games this year. And I know they went, 12 games against FBS foes before actually covering one. They finally did last week in grand fashion against Virginia. How about 10 sacks against Colandrea and Musket, the quarterbacks for Virginia? Criswell played a very good game at quarterback. They are flat out better than Florida State, and looks like they might be ready to make a nice little November run. I'm going to take North Carolina there. Duke and Miami a little bit earlier tomorrow. Kickoff down at Hard Rock. This is the Manny Diaz Bowl. I still maintain Diaz was a little bit unfairly pushed out after 2021. He hadn't done that badly, but I know there was stuff behind the scenes there, very political, booster related. Cristobal was the guy for the big boosters down there. They wanted him back. There was some. Diaz's father used to be mayor of Miami. I mean, there was a lot of intrigue behind the scene. Anyway, Diaz comes back, first time to face Miami since. Duke ain't that bad. They got a defense, and Manny is a defensive guy that can do some things. They force a lot of turnovers, and he will not sit back against Cam Ward the way we saw Florida and a couple of other teams earlier in the year. I am still not completely convinced about Miami. I think they legitimately should have 2 losses right now if the ACC referees and replay officials played it straight, which they didn't. And this team is a little bit of a fraud, I think, being undefeated. So I see you 21 out there this morning with Duke. I'm taking it, Jimmy, with the Blue Devils tomorrow in the early kickoff at Hard Rock.
Man, you got to win a game, though, when you're +6 in the turnover battle. Brucey, I mean, Van Dyke almost single-handedly saved his job for him. Remember that game against Florida State where I think Florida State and Jordan Travis, that was kind of one of his breakout games, too. Converted like a 4th and 12. It was a late touchdown drive. Miami was winning that game because they were on a roll late that year, but that game probably cost him his job. Brucey, some of the smaller conferences, who we got?
Let's go to the Commander-in-Chief tomorrow with Air Force and Army. Now, we haven't seen a number like this in one of these games in a long time. It's over 3 touchdowns. So we got a total, which is coming down a bit. I mean, I still see a couple 42s out there, 41.5. Just because the nature of the rivalry, I'm a little reluctant to lay that many points. Army is the class team this year, and we know how good they are. And Air Force this is the worst Troy Calhoun team. This is worse than his 2013 team. That team was decimated by injuries. They had like 5 guys at quarterback. This team is just flat out bad. Look at those stats for Air Force. We're here in November. Their top rusher has 212 yards rushing. They are not running the ball like they used to. They are not scoring like they used to. All their points really this year came in that one game against New Mexico. They scored 37. Their other last 6 games, they've scored a combined 49 points. I think this one stays under. Army's defense is pretty raucous there, and I just don't know that Air Force is going to score. Maybe they'll give them 7. But if you can get a 42, I'd go under that one. And Mikey up in the beautiful West Point tomorrow. One other one, sticking in the Mountain West. Fresno is showing me something here. Maybe I got a little off track watching that UNLV game where just everything went wrong. I was very impressed with what they did 2 weeks ago in the second half against Nevada. They probably should have covered that game, but they still came back and won. Tim Skipper looks like they're playing hard for him. He may keep the job on a permanent basis. That was a good win over San Jose last week. Very good. And Hawaii is no better than San Jose. But Skipper's defense, I think, will keep Shager and the Hawaii offense in check. Hawaii's had trouble traveling to the mainland this year. I think Fresno, you're going to lay about 13 or so tomorrow, 13.5. I'd do it. I think they win like they did against San Jose last week.
All right, Brucey, good job. Anything else? Well, before we let you go, you making it down for the Dodgers championship parade, huh? The Grand Marshal?
No, I think I'll stay in another state when that happens. Oh, let me throw you one other one real quick.
Uh-huh.
I think Michigan State's going to give Indiana a fight tomorrow. I can't believe a team. I know Indiana's great and Rourke's going to play. I can't believe a team's going to go all year never trailing in a game. I want to see what they do if they get behind. Something tells me Michigan State's going to put up a good fight tomorrow in East Lansing.
Where would you have in your power ratings, Indiana, you think?
I mean, we're ranked
Point
in the
spread,
country
point
right
spread
now.
value. Point spread value. The power rating.
Yeah.
Not what they've done with the
Yeah, well, it's in relation to everybody else. I mean, they're good. I mean, I've got them as a favorite in this game. I mean, my ratings have them 6 in this game against Michigan State. Now, they wouldn't. I mean, in September, I would have probably had Michigan State 6 or 7 until later in the month in September. But it's just the pattern of their game. A team cannot continue to play as well as Indiana has. I mean, it's very, very difficult to never trail in a game. I want to see what they do if they get behind. So my power ratings have this number just a wee bit less than what the spread is here. But this Jonathan Smith, good underdog coach.
In an era
Indiana has trouble.
In an era of just such low football IQ, and we see it at all levels. Last night again with the Jets, Corley. I mean, just cannot get to the end zone first. Pitts on Sunday. We go on and on. The leverage play on the field goal. I mean, just over and over some dumb stuff. I mean, Garrett Cole can't run. I mean, really? At $38 million is not enough for you to cover a ball, hit on the right side, get to first base. 5 runs later, how you feeling about it now? See if he does that from moving forward. But this Indiana, they're so smart. They're so IQ, but damn it, it's college football. And you cannot blow out. That's a big high, blowing out the best team at that point that you played in Nebraska, a much more storied team than you. And then you got all the pomp and circumstance of ESPN's game day coming there, and you perform it again. And then you have Ohio State on the horizon. I mean, how can they not be flat? How can they not be vulnerable right here,
Jimmy, I remember the last time Indiana was 8-0 in this same spot in '67. They went into Minnesota. They had the big game with Purdue. That was a big game against Minnesota that year, too, and they got spanked. Then they beat Purdue in the last game when Leroy Keys was there in Phipps and ended up getting in the Rose Bowl. But this 8-0, they've never gone beyond 8-0. It's going to be tough tomorrow. I'm telling you, Michigan State's going to play them tough.
Well, the thing is that quarterback is inconsistent, okay? I mean, he'll make some plays, but his mistakes cost them that Boston College game on the road. I mean, it was him. I mean, it was. Look, this is the. You talk about the year. This is the year of the inconsistent quarterback. I mean, tell me, nobody's consistent besides Diego Pavia, and he can be a little inconsistent at times.
If I didn't see Michigan State beat Iowa a couple weeks ago, I probably wouldn't be on here. But I know they got it in them. And that's the best defense they're going to see, and they took care of Iowa. So I think they're going to play them good tomorrow. We'll see.
It's the emotional advantage is no doubt. Charlie, you had something?
Well, this may be the most consensus we've had of our
Michigan
experts.
State.
Matt Humans, Kenny White, Chris Massaro, now Bruce, all on like in Michigan State.
Put me down too.
Yeah, it's probably the most love we've gotten on a pick this year.
But 80% Club Troy Macker from Bet Rivers let us know that the tickets are all on Indiana. I mean, they're cashing tickets. They're just going to say, they're betting blind. And I mean, and why not? Why not? So I had Indiana last week, but I'm on the other side this week. All right, Brucey, good job. How was Oxford? Real quick.
Oh, it was fine. And you were right about the clientele there. Although no women go to Temple games, so I can't really compare it to anything.
What a Bruce. I mean, yes, there's a little bit better scenery in Oxford on game day than Temple. Yes, that's
just a little bit.
Yeah, just a tad. That's a tad. Thank you, Bruce. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay.
All right. Don't forget our friends at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow. including their newest branch at Burbank and Bluebonnet. We've been serving the people of Southern Louisiana for over 50 years. At United Community Bank, your business is our business. We support the hardworking folks behind local business, from initial startup loans to ongoing planning and assessments. United Community Bank is here for you. A great team of bankers: Heath Meir, Prentice Wilkes, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, David Henry. Stop on by and discuss how we can help your business today. United Community Bank, member to FDIC, equal housing lender.
Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments from Ruffino's on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Sid Edwards wants your vote, but his voting record? Pure hypocrisy. He skipped voting in 27 elections and didn't bother showing up when we needed him most. Yet now he's asking for our trust. For 8 years, Sid Edwards didn't vote to keep us safe. He's been MIA when our community needed him, but suddenly he's ready to lead it? Don't buy it. Sid Edwards is a zero for our communities. Paid for by Louisiana Government Accountability Coalition.
Hi, I'm Skip Bergman. You know, my players relied on me for guidance and advice, whether it was fielding tips or when to swing for the fences or the little gorilla ball. In business, that's where good bankers come in, like the business bankers at Citizen Bank and Trust.
That's right, Skip. This is Jim Ferguson of Citizens Bank. If you're a business owner, the bankers at Citizens are here to coach you up for success. Join our team today. Citizens Bank and Trust, business bankers, business partners, member FDIC.
After the final whistle under Friday Night Lights, head to Brock's Friday Night Clinic for free orthopedic care and more. Whether you're a football player, cheerleader, band member, or dancer, everyone's welcome. Trust Brock for expert care after the game.
This is Chuck Oliver. Listen to me as we talk college football all year long, weeknights at 6 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. It's brought to you locally by Louisiana Turf Company. Visit them at louisianaturf.com.
This is Charles Hanagriff for Home Bank. If you're tired of the impersonal, one-size-fits-all style of banking, you deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for your businesses and families because they go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business and good for life. Stop by any South Louisiana, Houston, or Natchez area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Hey, it's Hunt Palmer. I'll be out at the grand opening of M&L Industries, your Baton Rouge Kubota dealer, this Saturday, November the 2nd. Come on out from 9 to 4 for a day jam-packed with fun for the whole family. They'll have giveaways, food, plus you can check out the latest Kubota equipment at the brand new facility. This Saturday, November the 2nd, M&L Industries, your Baton Rouge Kubota dealer. Come on out for the grand opening at M&L Industries.
Looking for some time away but don't want to go too far? The Cook Hotel at LSU is just what you've been searching for. Book your getaway today and enjoy a peaceful escape overlooking the University Lake in any of their luxurious guest rooms or suites. Their newly renovated bar is back open for service, and they're located near some of the best restaurants in town. Visit thecookhotel.com or call 225-383-2665 to book your stay today.
T-Bob here, inviting y'all to come downtown to hang out with me and Jake at the Queen Casino on River Road Thursday, November 7th for our last watch party of the season. Sportsbook, drinks, food, all the big screens, giveaways you can't miss. Come see us Thursday, November 7th, 7:15, Bengals versus Ravens.
By now, you know that we do our show every other Tuesday at the Crown Town Room at Dozy Place. The Crown Town Room is ideal for larger groups, or if you just want to watch the game on one of our 3 large TVs. The tamales are the most popular appetizer, but don't forget the seared tuna with the sriracha glaze for the perfect blend of sweet and spicy. You can't go wrong also with the flash fried oysters or the shrimp. The porterhouse is the perfect steak to share. Strip on one side, filet on the other, prepared at different temps if you like, bone in to maximize flavor. Dozy Place on Government Street, just off Acadian in the heart of Mid-City.
Hi, this is Jake and James of Trash Rangers of Louisiana. If you switch your residential or commercial trash pickup to us, we promise to never sell your trash to the paparazzi. Seriously.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
Charles Hanagriff's 5-pack of picks. Brought to you by Supreme Rice. Make sure you use Louisiana rice, grown by Louisiana farmers since 1936. Available at most local grocery stores. Supreme Rice.
All right, see if we can do a little bit better. 3-2 last week, not bad, and I deserved all 5 of them. I thought no funny business last week, so see what we can do here. I'm on Penn State plus the 3. You look at any category that these teams have statistically, and they're even. They're either one in front or one behind each other. Everything that matters, every stat that matters to me anyway. Penn State has a quarterback situation, at least in as good a shape as they can be in. They'll have LR ready to go. They'll have both quarterbacks available to them. They got the home field and they got 3 points. I'm going to take the Nittany Lions plus the 3. And Jimmy, Ohio State, if they drop this one, man, the pressure when
the
Indiana
Indiana
gets
game.
there. Yeah, and Michigan too, of course, but that game's in a whole different category. They dropped this one. They lose to Indiana. They're out of the playoff, and you would have never. You couldn't find a single projection that had Ohio State out of the playoffs. So, bunch of pressure on the Buckeyes. I like Penn State tomorrow plus the 3. Going to take Arkansas plus the 7. Sorry to see this one start to slide back in the other direction because it had climbed up a little bit to 7.5, even to 8 yesterday at some point. We'll take the 7 points. Nice spot for Arkansas here. They catch Ole Miss between home games and before Georgia visits next week. A sleepy little 11 o'clock start. Arkansas has only played about 2.5 bad quarters of football this year. The fourth quarter against Oklahoma State plus the overtime, and then the fourth quarter and a little bit against LSU. Everybody else, they've been fine. They went up against Texas A&M. They did fine. They went up against Tennessee. They won that game. They rebounded, I thought, very nicely from the LSU loss, just pasting Mississippi State last week. Give me the 7 points. I like the spot for Arkansas against Ole Miss. Going to take Florida plus 14.5 against Georgia. Florida hadn't been dead team walking in about a month, and Georgia doesn't blow everybody out. They've kind of played up and down. They let Auburn hang around in the game. They let Mississippi State hang around in the game. They let Kentucky hang around in the game. Florida has lost their last 3 in this series by an average of 24 points. I think they're going to play with a heartbeat tomorrow. I don't think they win, but if you're giving me more than 2 touchdowns in the rivalry game, I'm going to take the Gators plus 14.5. South Carolina plus 3.5. Again, I like the spot. A&M huge win last week against LSU, and now it's like a 4-week pregame to the Texas game for them. Problem is South Carolina ain't bad. Gamecocks have played twice as many bad quarters as Arkansas this year. They've played 4, all of them against Ole Miss. They lost to LSU by 3. They lost to Alabama by 2. They stomped a mud hole in Kentucky, and they just clobbered Oklahoma in Norman, and that was 2 weeks ago. So they're off a bye, home for the first time in 4 weeks. Opponent coming off an emotional game. Quarterback situation potentially good for A&M, but there's no guarantee Marcel Reed's going to play the way he has in the game against LSU. So that's a little bit unsettled. All of that, and I'm getting points with the home team. Yep, South Carolina plus 3.5. And I'm going to take Washington plus the 2. USC gets the close but no cigar award this year. Actually, they have to split it with Kansas, but you get the idea. And I say that as an alumnus of the one school at USC actually came through in the clutch against. They could have won at Michigan. They could have won at Minnesota. They could have won at Maryland. They could have won at home against Penn State, but they didn't win any of those games. They won 0. True road games this year, they've won 0. But all they've done about in the last month is beat Rutgers, and that was after the Scarlet Knights had to fly through 3 time zones for a league game. Washington playing their first home game in a month. They're exactly 1 yard in the Apple Cup away from being 5-0 at home. The Huskies' yards per play on offense is a little bit better than USC's. The Huskies' yard per play on defense is a lot better than USC's. And I'm getting points? Yep. Washington plus the 2. So Penn State at home plus the 3. Arkansas at home plus the 7. South Carolina at home plus the 3.5. Washington at home plus the 2. And Florida in Jacksonville plus 14.5 against Georgia.
All right, Aller is going to go. I think it's an MCL sprain where they talking about it. Put the brace on his left knee, and you can tell it's very sensitive on the inside when you got that. And you saw it's what Mahomes rushed back last year in the playoffs 1 week, but he will not be 100%. So Prabula is. I will be shocked if he doesn't get some snaps, and he performed as well as you could possibly do it. I mean, 80% of his passes are touchdown for 80 yards. What about 8.5 yards an attempt, 9 yards, touchdown, rest for about 40 more yards with his legs. So I think you're going to get both of them. Charlie, the two of your picks are on the beneficial side of the one of the big games. Look ahead spot. Georgia goes to Oxford next weekend. You've got the two teams against those two teams. Lane Kiffin's already complaining, especially for the runts here. Go and play Arkansas, although they have Halloween season. Fayetteville's been a haunted house for the Ole Miss Rebels. I mean, they really have their struggles there. South Carolina jumped from 2.5 to 3.5. Emotion for the Aggies, certainly in the second half. It was that one of the biggest wins they've had in a long time.
Absolutely.
Double-digit deficit.
They've never had to lead in the SEC this late in the season. So to put them there, yes.
Double-digit deficit. Second half turns into a double-digit win. Yeah, I'd say that crowd got a little bit going there. And Washington USC, I think that I agree with that too. It's a reputation line. I mean, both teams are 4-4. Washington has lost 2 games. They outgained Indiana in the game on Saturday. They outgained Rutgers by a lot in that Friday night game where they gave it away. And so and they're undefeated at home as well.
But
so
they lost to one to the
I'm
Apple
sorry,
Cup.
Washington State.
You know what it was?
The 1 yard line.
It was
1 yard line.
And it was actually at the Seahawks Stadium, so it wasn't on
campus.
it
was not on campus.
So
okay, that's
pseudo.
That's
home
why.
game.
That's why.
Pseudo home game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I think these two teams are a pick 'em on a neutral. So you're telling me that? I mean, Southern Cal is 5-6 on neutral. Don't think so. So, and you also talk about those teams where their goal is gone, all their goals. You have players quit like they did, red shirt, if you want to call it. That's a convenient way, more honorable term than maybe red quitting. But they've had that, and boy, what a difference the two guys. This is year 3 for Lincoln Riley. This is year 1 for Fish. LSU could have been LSU's coach. So Brian Kelly's not perfect, but he's doing a lot better in Baton Rouge than Lincoln Riley is doing in Southern California. So there you go. Charlie's Picks brought to you by Supreme Rice. You trying to you boil that rice, or you got the cooker at home and say, why can't I get my rice at that restaurant quality rice? It's easy now. It's the parboil rice. Man, I do it. I boil it at home, strain it. You don't have as much of that residue from the normal rice, and it's a bigger, more firm. It is just like that rice. I haven't gotten nothing like this close to the restaurant quality rice. It's the parboil rice. It's the only rice I use right now, and it's now available where you find all of your Supreme Rice products in just about every Baton Rouge area grocery store.
And Supreme Rice is a part of Climate Smart program, talking about reducing methane emissions and preserving water conservation for future generations of Louisiana farmers. For more information, go to the website at supremerice.com. We're back with Jimmy's Picks. Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments from Ruffino's, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
At Lofton, we're in the business of matching hard workers with some of the most sought-after employers in the Baton Rouge area. To Lofton, you're more than just another employee. We care about your interests, and we can help match you with a company that needs your skills. You can complete an application, schedule an interview, and even browse jobs by simply going to lofton.jobs. That's lofton.jobs. We also offer an unlimited $100 referral bonus. At Lofton, we put people to work. Lofton.jobs.
Get going and get it done. Get going and get it done. Car wrecks done. Personal injury done. Workers' comp done. Truck wrecks done. Get going and get it done. Get going and get it done.
Attorney Gordon McKerney, Baton Rouge, LA 22-13634.
Get going.
Looking for an exciting career? Guarantee Media is hiring. Go to guaranteemedia.com to see open positions and apply today. Guarantee Media is an equal opportunity employer. GuaranteeMedia.com.
Do you love golf but struggle to find the time to play? Schneider's Golf Mechanics on Bluebonnet has 2 state-of-the-art simulators where you can play 18 holes in an hour, anytime, rain or shine. Schneider's Golf Mechanics. Fix your clubs, fix your game. Schneider'sGolfMechanics.com.
Are you ready for some football?
This hour of Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny is brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111, and ocbrown.com. Roto-Rooter for all your plumbing needs, 925-8710. Supreme Rice, grown, milled, processed in Louisiana since 1936. United Community Bank, the local way to bank big. Lofton Staffing Services, 924-0200, and lofton.jobs. Text Morris at Edward Jones Investments on Jefferson Highway, 928-8659. Total Maintenance, your one-stop shop for AC, electrical, generators, and plumbing. Service today, every day for Total Maintenance. The LSU Alumni Association and the Cook Hotel and Conference Center. For reservations, thecookhotel.com.
If you're a small business owner, you've probably noticed how the big banks like to force you into one-size-fits-all financial service products. At Neighbors Federal Credit Union, we've created a suite of flexible commercial checking accounts designed to fit the specific needs of your local business. And with 9 full-service locations throughout Greater Baton Rouge, we're always just around the corner. We're a local small business looking out for other local small businesses. Learn more about Neighbors commercial checking accounts by visiting neighborsfcu.org. Neighbors Federal Credit Union. We're here for you. Insured by NCUA.
Yo, Jake and T-Bob here. We've been talking about the All-Star Toyota rentals for a while, so during vacation season, we wanted to remind you about them.
That's right. All-Star Toyota has daily, weekly, and monthly rentals with flexible plans and competitive rates that blow the other places out of the water. In fact, you can rent a new Toyota for as little as $60 a day. These rentals are perfect for out-of-town trips, for business, or pleasure.
All-Star Toyota located on Airline at Goodwood. Check out their website at allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com/rental. People you know, cars you trust. All-Star Toyota.
The Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny Restaurant Club. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, downtown facing Town Square. At Jolie Pearl, we're pretty shucking good. Louisiana Lanyap on Perkins and Bluebonnet, winner of the most 225's Best of Awards. Snow Seafood and Steak for over 50 years on Airline, Highway, and Highway 74 in Gonzales. Dozy Place for hand-cut steaks on Government Street and Mid-City. Louis Cafe, a Baton Rouge landmark since 1941. Just outside the north gates of LSU. Finbom, sushi, burrito, poke, ramen at Burbank and Lee, and Phil's Oyster Bar since 1950 on Government Street and now in the South Downs Shopping Center.
Whatever you're into, Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge has an SUV for you. College football tailgate you, weekend getaway you, kids sporting event you. Modern, practical, smart. Our family of SUVs has you covered. This month, we invite you to come drive the GLC 300 and take advantage of the lease offer of $529 per month while inventory lasts at Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge. Only for qualified buyers. See dealer for further detail.
Jimmy Ott's 5-pack of picks, brought to you by Supreme Rice. Make sure you use Louisiana rice, grown by Louisiana farmers since 1936. Available at most local grocery stores. Supreme Rice.
All right, let's get to it. 3-2, couple of back-to-back 3-2 weeks for us here, 24-21 on the season. Baylor and TCU, Dave Aranda on the hot seat, and you wonder how his team would respond to losing that Hail Mary up in Boulder. Well, they got off to a slow start, fell behind 21-0 against BYU, but outplayed BYU the rest of the game, lost by 6. It was close. BYU was a little bit more respected loss than at that time. They've gone on to win a couple of games. They routed Texas Tech on the road, and they took care of business by 10 against Oklahoma State. The point is they've rebounded very nicely. TCU comes into town. I think Baylor is better. Baylor's at home. Baylor's playing better. This is a short number, in my opinion. Baylor minus the 3. All the reasons that we discussed all day long about Indiana and Michigan State. Man, it was a heck of an effort against Nebraska, the number 1 team. That was a big letdown spot, but they wouldn't. Game day comes to town. It couldn't be a letdown spot. Would it be a distraction? They wouldn't allow it to be a distraction. They still had some times where it was some struggles up front. Washington might have been just a tad better than up front. Cignetti's crew, ain't got to worry about mental mistakes, dumb plays in this team. They are fundamentally sound, and they play football the right way. Interesting in his conversation on the game day set about his roster compilation, how he put together that thing up in Bloomington. But at some point, come on, man, when undefeated and Ohio State on deck, please. I mean, or around the corner. Michigan State plus a 7.5. They're capable. Give me a little consistent play. Well, just be inconsistent like you've been for most of the season. It is the year of the inconsistent quarterback. See College Station last Saturday night. South Carolina and Texas A&M, how would they handle the prosperity of their motion? Is an emotional letdown spot for them. And don't think that they're not peeking ahead just a little bit to that final game when Texas comes to town as well. So South Carolina goes in. South Carolina in a similar spot when Ole Miss came to town was, boy, they were disappointing to say the least. I love how this line has jumped the magic number of 3, going from 2.5 to 3.5. Lane Kiffin thinks it's an advantage at night to play your home games at night. LSU got another home game. Figures. What did he say? So shocker. Shocker was his word. Guess where you playing Saturday night? Cocky. Let's go, Cocky. Primetime Cocky. Sandstorm. Let's get it going. Gamecocks plus 3.5. Navy, after them just ripping and rolling through Evangeline Downs, they brought him up to Del Mar for a spot. It did not work very good. Now he's back down at Rice. They just fired their coach, back in their proper level. Hey, Navy was unbelievably bad, and it was a lot of self-induced things, not created by Notre Dame. It was created, I believe, though, by the stage, which they didn't handle very well at all in the Meadowlands at MetLife Stadium in New York. So Navy, are they going to hang their heads? Hell no. Man, they love playing football with their daily regimen. They'll be fine. They'll handle adversity with just fine. They'll bounce back just fine. And at their proper playing weight, they'll take care of the Rice Owls minus a 10.5 there. It's one of my money line picks as well, my money line parlay. And then this one of our favorite angles. Rankings aren't good for anything. Minus unranked team favored over a ranked team. 95, 97% of the time, well, they're at home. It's college sports. It's college basketball. It's college football. This one is not. Row the boat. PJ Fleck. I mean, one of our producers, my buddy Alex, is a Minnesota alum. And I got to tell you, but y'all just be happy what you got with PJ Fleck. You're Minnesota. You're like 5-2. Just relax, okay? But this one, they go to Bielema and Champaign, Illinois. They're not better than Illinois. I don't know if Illinois is better than Minnesota, but I'm at home catching points. Oh, by the way, Brett Bielema at Illinois, and when he was at Wisconsin, has owned this team as well. Illinois plus 3 here. Minnesota, they were in a favorable spot. Maryland had the walk-off. I mean, the late win against USC. They stormed the field, coming from 14 down in the fourth quarter. They caught them in a favorable spot. They bum rushed them last week. Minnesota had to rally to beat UCLA, where they were statistically dominated. UCLA had 100 more yards than them in that one. They're not better than Illinois. Give me the home team. Illini plus a 3 at home there.
I like that was my 6th pick. I had them written down. I went back and forth taking them in Washington. I ended up taking Washington, but I could just as easily taken Illinois. The only thing that I agree with everything you said. The only thing that scared me off a little bit about Illinois was the rush defense. They're near the bottom of the Big Ten in rush defense, which you don't expect from a Bielema team. But Minnesota doesn't run the football all that well either. They're 16th, I think. That's 18th. 17th, I think, in rush offense in the league. So, like that one, like the Navy pick. I'm with you on South Carolina. I guess I'm the only. I wrote down Michigan State too. I guess I will be on them tomorrow. I just didn't put them in my 5-pack. I like that one. And Baylor, I don't know. Been a little back and forth on Dave Aranda's group this year, so I hope you catch him on the right.
They're playing well.
Yeah,
they're playing well. And look, man, how would their
record could be easily a couple games better.
Back-to-back turnovers to start the BYU game. I mean, if they could have won that one, they're probably better. They dug themselves too big of a hole against a solid team. But what do we think of BYU now? And in Colorado, BYU's top the Big 12. Colorado's in second. And I mean, they should have beat them. Out there, I think they're better than their overall record. And then they could easily be
6-2.
Yeah. So I mean, I like the way they've rebounded in that one. So don't forget our friends at Lofton Staffing Services. Lofton Staffing. Hey, how about they bring you auto locks each and every evening at 5:50 on After Further Review with Moscona, and led another auto lock win last night with the New York Jets. Right after a little bit of a double Jacksonville State winner, and along with the Dodgers. So we won our last three. My buddy Bart Lofton over at Lofton Staffing Services, second generation staffing services, and we match hard workers with the most sought after employers at Lofton. You're more than just another employee. We care about your interests, and we'll match you with a company that needs your skills. Call us today, 924-0200, or go to lofton.jobs. That's right, lofton.jobs. You can do that in the comfort of your own home. Lofton Staffing Services, we've been putting people to work since 1979. 924-0200 and lofton.jobs.
Live at Ruffino's.
Caboose is next.
What? Yeah.
Caboose is hot, huh?
Yeah, he's 4-1 last week.
Come
Lock
on.
of the Week
Little
Friday,
man.
presented by Tex
Come
Morris
on,
and Edward
Weatherman.
Jones Investments. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Take a swing around the parish to one of Breck's 5.
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
It's rolling.
This is Charles Hanagriff. Join us for the Monday edition of Live at Lunch from the Beau Rivage in Biloxi. We'll be back at our press conference time of 10 a.m. with Brian Kelly's press conference. Let me start over. This is Charles Hanagriff. Join us for the Monday edition of Live at Lunch from the Beau Rivage in Biloxi. We'll be on at 10 a.m. and the show will include the Brian Kelly press conference, and we'll recap a big weekend in college and pro football. Live from the Beau Rivage, Monday at 10, Live at Lunch on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Firsthand. Now in my third year here in Baton Rouge, I've gotten to know them through their support of our football program. So it's simple. All of you truck buyers across the state, and I know there are a lot of you, when it's time for that brand new vehicle, go to Hollingsworth Richard Ford and tell them Coach Kelly sent you.
This is Charles Hanagriff for Supreme Rice. We always ask you to support our Louisiana farmers. Well, Supreme Rice has a long history of working with those Louisiana farmers in developing and maintaining sustainable farming practices. And now their Climate Smart program supports farming practices that reduce methane emissions and support water conservation, positively impacting the longevity of rice farming for future generations. So the next time you shop for rice, make it Supreme Rice. For more information and great recipes, go to supremerice.com and look for the Climate Smart logo on Supreme Rice bags coming soon.
The fall tent sale is back at Red Stick Sports Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, October 31st through November 2nd. When the tent goes up, the prices go down. Store-wide savings are up to 75% off. LSU merch is up to 50% off. Bats and gloves are also up to 50% off with big savings on all of your favorite brands like Adidas and Under Armour, apparel, shoes, gear, and equipment. It's the 2024 Fall Tent Sale, October 31st through November 2nd at Red Stick Sports, 5770 Essen Lane.
Your Fighting Tigers of LSU host the Alabama Crimson Tide. Saturday, November 9th. It all gets started with Eagle 98.1 Game Day with Charles Hanagriff and Matt Musso at 1:30 p.m. live from Rouse's on Burbank, and wraps up with Eagle 98.1 Game Day postgame 90 minutes after the end of the game. It's presented by Super Chevy, your local Super Chevy dealers, and you can hear it on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and your flagship home for the Tigers, Eagle 98.1.
Workbox can handle all of your movable storage needs, commercial and residential. Our shipping containers come in various sizes, 8x8, 8x10, 8x20, or even 8x40 feet. Not just one size. These units can be customized for any use. Custom lunchrooms, offices, work sites for plumbers or welders, dual purpose, part office, part storage, climate control, shelving, lighting, using different materials, whatever you need. Give my buddy Martin Padilla at Workbox a call at 343-4886, 343-4886, and workboxllc.com.
Leaves are falling, and so are prices at Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. Now through November 30th, get up to $120 back by mail when you buy a set of 4 new select Toyo or Nitto tires. Plus, get free installation, a $118 value when you use your Shawbills credit card. Visit ShawbillsTire.com to shop Nitto and Toyo tires and for complete offer details. Shawbills. We keep you rolling. Offer expires November 30th. Void where prohibited. Subject to credit approval. Do you feel like you get hurt at the most inconvenient times? Brock's After Hours Clinic has you covered for a break, sprain, or strain. Open 7 days a week, nights and weekends. Walk-ins welcome. Learn more, brortho.com.
Hi, this is Jake and James of Trash Rangers of Louisiana. Have a question, a problem? Call us. We answer the phone. 225-363-9053.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Max, you just missed a perfect week by a point.
Yeah.
4-0-1 last week. Who cost you the perfect?
Wake Forest was laying 3. They won by 3. They actually had a chance to win that game by double digits pretty easily, but they let Stanford hang around. So, but we'll take the week. I needed it.
Yeah. All right. 4-0-1, 22-22-1 for the season. Let's get it.
Going to start off in the 11 a.m. slate with a total. I'm going to take Ole Miss Arkansas under 54 in that one. Here's the big thing. I was kind of inclined, like you, Charlie, to take Arkansas, but Jaquindon Jackson ruled out for this game. They're starting running back. I think it's a real problem for their offense. The way that they let Taylor Green run, I think it's very much dependent on Jackson being in the game, which he will not be this week. Also, we know that Trey Harris hasn't quite been the same. He's questionable, but still going to be dealing with an injury. Ole Miss has gone under in 7 straight games. They're an under team. Jimmy, you saw this in the Oklahoma game. The offense just seemed very, very, very happy to just see the game out with a win.
He does not have these wide open chunk plays. They're more deliberate in their pace, and they're just more of a complete team. And I mean, we know that defensively up front, my gosh, are way better than they normally been.
On the road in a tough environment as well. I just don't see many points in this game, so I'll take the under 54. Ole Miss and Arkansas.
Ask Mincy. I mean, it's a haunted house for us in Tateville.
I'm not angry anymore. I'm just disappointed. I think this is sweet.
Right.
I read about halftime last
Runs
week.
in a little spot before Big. You know they're looking ahead to Georgia.
Sure.
You know it.
Wouldn't it be just like them to lose this game and then beat Georgia next week?
I'm telling you. They have a tough time. I'll look it up. Go ahead, Max.
Unfortunately, a move against me here. I was getting 10. I'm now only getting 9.5 with Stanford on the road at NC State.
Well, you got onions picking them. Go ahead.
NC State's a team that you just can't bet. They're unbettable. 1-7 against the spread. I've been fading them a lot this year. They did win and cover against Cal on the road. That was a decent win. They showed a little bit of life. They're off a bye week, but I just can't lay over a touchdown with NC State against anyone. I mean, they beat La Tech, who's terrible, by 10. They beat Northern Illinois by 7, who's been shown as a fraud after beating Notre Dame. They're just not good. And Stanford, for what it's worth, I watched them a good bit against Wake. They covered that number. They have some life about them. They can move the ball a little bit offensively. They had a really tough schedule before then. So I think Stanford's going to stay in this game. I'll take the 9.5 points with the Cardinal. Next game, I'm going to go to the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, no matter if they want to call it that or not. I'm going to take Florida as well here, Charlie. 14.5 here. I know it was 18.5 when this thing opened, but I think Florida's the right side. They're probably, by a power rankings perspective, a top 25 team. They've covered 4 in a row. They're playing a lot better. Lagway is very much – there's a lot of variability with him. You boom or bust, so you could worry a little bit about him. But Carson Beck, in his last 5 SEC games, 8 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Like, congrats, you're dating a Cavender twin, but I'm not seeing this NFL.
One of the Cavender twins? Go ahead.
I'm not seeing this number one, possible quarterback from him.
He's not.
It's a problem, and their offense just isn't quite the same if he's not clicking on all cylinders. Florida's going to be ready for this game. I think Florida's going to win 1 or 2 of these games down the stretch, and that's not just including the Florida State game. Florida's got some life in them, and they're going to upset. I'm going to be playing them a lot lately, but 14.5 in a rivalry game, I'll gladly take it. Napier has been very good as a double-digit dog as well in his career.
Napier.
South Carolina plus 3.5 against Texas A&M. With you on this one as well, Charlie. This is just a letdown spot, and we've seen A&M in some bad spots on their schedule kind of struggle. Bowling Green, after a win against Florida, they were 21-point favorites, won by 6. We saw going into that LSU game, they went on the road to Starkville, laying 21, happy to get out there with a win by 10. Of course, they're only laying 3.5 in this one, but South Carolina is ready to go. And you could be looking at this team a lot differently had they been able to beat LSU, had they been able to beat Alabama, which they absolutely could have done. They'd only have one loss to Ole Miss if that were the case. This is a tough place to play. They're catching 3.5 now, so I'll take it with the Gamecocks. And finally, Iowa minus 2.5 against Wisconsin. Thought about the over in this one. Iowa actually 7-1 to the over.
They're a big over team this year.
They're playing offense a lot better. And what's interesting here is they're going to a different quarterback. Brendan Sullivan replaces Cade McNamara, who hasn't been as good. He got concussed last week. Sullivan's going to get the start. More of a dual threat quarterback. 41 rushing yards along with his passing game last week. He came in the second quarter. They scored 37 points in 2 quarters right out the gates, and then kind of mailed it in the fourth quarter against Northwestern last week. So I think he expands this offense a little bit. Wisconsin plays at a pretty good tempo as well, so Iowa does slow it down, but it'll be countered by Wisconsin, who Braden Locke, they can score the ball a little bit. I see points in this one. I'm inclined to take the over, but I just think Iowa, with this new quarterback, is actually going to be benefited here. They blow out Washington, who's got a pretty good defense. Wisconsin's defense, I don't really trust. They did a lot of their good numbers against really bad offenses. So I'm going to lay the 2.5 with Iowa at home. To me, they're a better team in general, but at home now, they should be laying 5 or 6, in my opinion.
Who's the picks again? Recap them real quick.
Ole Miss, Arkansas under 54, Stanford plus 9.5 at NC State, Florida plus 14.5 against Georgia, South Carolina plus 3.5.
Hold on, man. You think I can write that fast? Stanford, and then who else?
Florida plus 14.5.
Okay.
South Carolina plus 3.5 against A&M. And
Plus 3.5. You jumping on me and Charlie's bandwagon? Here you go, Charlie. You think they're going to play in Little Rock anymore? Last 2 times they played in Little Rock, Ole Miss beat Arkansas. They played in Fayetteville. They have lost their last 5 and 8 of their last 9.
Yeah, I think they're down to playing just the non-conference rental wins in Little Rock. I think it's all they
Mincy, Fayetteville. Boo.
Even in Oxford, though, Jimmy, Arkansas's covered 9 of 10 in this series. So they always tend to play Ole Miss close, even if they don't win.
They played that crazy game when the week LSU was at Kentucky.
Like 50 to 49, 53 to 52.
2021, right?
51,
yeah.
21, yep.
Oh, wait, they had a 53-52 in 2015 also. Mm-hmm. That was in Oxford.
Let's go with an under this time.
Yeah.
Which didn't well, no, the one that you're talking about, Ole Miss one, that was
2021. Yep.
Yeah. And but the one, the other one, in 2015, Arkansas won that one by 30. 1. I think that was some overtime. So
thanks to everybody for participating.
Beau Rivage this weekend on the football Sunday.
We start that at 10 o'clock, and we'll be there for the Monday show as well. For Max, for Jimmy, Jordan back in the studio, I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you and good afternoon. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Hey, it's Hunt. This Saturday, M&L Industries